Hello, everyone. Good morning if you're on the East Coast. Welcome to everybody to Adventures of Middle-earth. It is day 53. Holy cow. Day 53 of Adventures in Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures. We are calling this the Crossings of Selduin as we continue to press on in our Wilderland Adventures campaign. I hope everyone is doing well and is looking forward to some awesome play today. I am very excited to get back underway with this campaign and to get us back adventuring because we have a kingdom to save and all that kind of good stuff. Before I get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the stream. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Check out the YouTube channel with !ArvTube, where I have all the past broadcasts of the stream. !ArvCord is the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. !ArvTweets will allow you to will allow you to follow my Twitter, and !tweet, thank you, Echo, good to see you, will allow you to retweet the stream to all and sundry, which is always a good thing. And you can find that all at arvaneleron.com, by the way. !ArvShop will allow you to check out and support us on our merchandise area, and I do want to point people to that because if you have been interested in some of the wonderful drawing and illustration done by one of our players, Terry Toons, Terry did a series of these things with characters. There's no official branding on it because we don't want to fall afoul of any problems, but they may be characters that are connected and sort of associated with that. So, all right. Well, I'll have to talk to Shadow about that, Echo. But anyway, so that's !ArvShop, where you can find stuff for that, Infinity and Beyond stuff, and soon we'll have some Esper Genesis stuff as well. !ArvTreon is the Patreon, which allows you to support us financially, and that really is the financial backbone of the channel, and the PayPal at the moment's pretty low because of a bunch of intro videos and other things I've had to do relating to channel stuff. So any support that you can give there is very much appreciated. And last but certainly not least, that sub button. We had a number of gift subs that dropped away here, so we're sitting right now I think at about 41 subs, and so we'll need to get some more resubbing and stuff like that happening as time goes on. So if you're able to do that, that would be much appreciated as well. Schedule wise, today we've got Adventures of Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures. Now this is going to be wrapping up at about 1:45 or so, and then normally I would have Pen and Pixels on GOG, but I'm actually not doing that this week. I will be back there next week, so I will probably be back on my own channel, probably doing some Neverwinter Nights Tyrants of the Moonsea, probably a little bit later on today. I don't yet have a set time for that. I might do it at the normal time of Pen and Pixels. I might do it at 4 p.m. I'm not sure. So we will see when that happens, but I will try to post that obviously on Twitter, so follow me over there if you want to make sure when that's actually happening. Then on Thursday, we have a very special Halloween-based series of shows, starting with Kat Rambo and the Rambo Academy for Wayward Writers. She's going to be doing a Halloween-themed class, super spooky, so that'll be cool. And then I will be doing a little bit of playing a spooky game. I haven't decided which game yet. And then we'll follow that up with the usual set of readings that I do. One reading by Edgar Allan Poe, a story that I have not yet selected. And then I always do to finish up the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven. And that's the way that I wrap those up. So, and that will put an end to October. Friday, November 1st, which will be obviously the first of the month, we will have Masters of the Dungeon with not only Dot, but also Carlos Hernandez as our special guest. So that's going to be really cool from Esper Genesis fame. And then I will be playing some more Tyrants of the Moonsea after that, and that will get us done with November as we move into Saturday, November 2nd and beyond. So that's what we're looking for, and that's going to be awesome as well. So no, there's definitely streams. No, I never said that. I said that there was not going to be any GOG stream today, but that there was definitely going to be a Adventures of Middle-earth stream for sure, and there was going to be the other. So that's what we've got, and yeah, so that's what we're doing. But with that said, it is time for us to meet our wonderful crew. So I'm going to unmute myself so they know that we're ready to go, and then I'm going to unmute them. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to swing over that way, dun, 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 to show you almost the full crew. Before I introduce the people that are here, I will say that Will right now is dealing with internet problems. He is trying to find a place from which to stream. So I hope that Will be joining us shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to leave, like King Arthur in the Seat Perilous, his spot will be unfilled on the column until we manage to get him in there. So Yes, right now there is just a dark space below where Tren is, and that certainly is not something that we could possibly allow.
Much like myself.
Much like myself. Thank you for the resub, Terry. It's very kind of you. 21 months, man. 21 months of support. Thank you, thank you. But the people that are here, which is 3 out of 4 right now, I will start with a gentleman who is up early and is a little tired, but that's okay because he knows that when there is a kingdom to save, he must rise and be ready, and be counted. And so it is my pleasure to welcome Tren in. How are you doing, Tren? How's life in the universe and everything, and who are you playing?
Well, when it comes to this particular thing, I'm at this point fairly convinced that it's a dream.
Then it is a good dream.
My druid portion is very upset with what we're about to do. But I'm doing okay as tired as I am, because I would say that I got 4 hours of sleep, but I really didn't, because I kept waking up and turning over and just
3.5 hours ish, maybe.
No, probably closer to 2. But, wow. Anyway, right. I've got tea, so I can manage. So I'm a person, and I'm playing. Maybe. Well, let me correct that. Maybe not. I might not be a person right now, but I am playing a person, a very tall person, very different from my D&D character, who's a very short person.
True.
Anyway,
yeah, you kind of average out to normal height if you just sort of put,
Yeah, it's weird. But I'm playing Tonnebear the Hearthminder, who is a Beorning something. I think he's just a scholar, but he is a master healer and a pacifist. So the fact that we are about to go and set a river on fire, which I think is all the more reason that Will should be here, given his relationship with rivers. I think that this is his chance for vengeance. He really should be here for this.
It's true. It's true. I look forward to seeing how the river gets handled. Not our character, the river, but the Selduin River. We will see how that all works when we get down there.
I'm so excited to have everything explained to me.
There's a lot that's happened. Just too much. Let me sum up.
Yeah, we're setting a river on fire. I'm not sure how y'all sold this character on it, but okay, that's great. Great.
Well, you rolled a 30 on something, so it was fun.
Yeah, it sort of all started that way.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to have Tren with us as always, and can't wait to see how Tonnebear handles things. And that moves us along to, as I say, we hopefully will be hearing from Will shortly when he is able to get internet stuff squared away. Moving right below, though, we have I think we got a flower. No, what is that? What's going on the hat today?
Leaves
on my head.
Leaves. I couldn't see it.
It's fall.
Yeah,
but they also look
leaves.
like flames, which is awesome. When you turn to the side, they do look really fiery.
This hat is on fire. So anyway, it is a great pleasure to welcome Terry Tunes back into the fold with the autumn-themed hat now that we've got going on.
Yeah, well, I just figured they were on my desk, so I might as well stick them.
Might as well put them in your hat. You don't want to say that. You want to be like, yeah, I spent a lot of thinking and processing about this. I planned for a long time, and
yeah, I bought these 2 months ago on a whim and didn't know what to do with them, so I just left them on my desk, and I was like, this is my moment to shine.
Here, it's all a long play. How are you, Terry, and who are you playing today?
I'm doing good because I am gonna get my cat this weekend. Finally.
Awesome.
I'm very much looking forward to this.
Cats?
Yes, I'm getting a cat. She is very cute. Her name is Lorelei, after the mermaid.
Yes.
Hopefully she loves water.
Stone. I don't know if she loves water, but she just kind of looks like a mermaid cat to me. So.
And that was how a promising relationship collapsed with the cat.
Also, the stories, they argue on whether or not Lorelei was actually a mermaid or a forest nymph or something. It's just she sat on that rock at the river. It looked pretty. That's everything everybody can agree on.
Mm-hmm.
So, Echo, I would love to have a dog, but that's work, a lot of work. I'm gonna get a dog when I stop living alone. I really, really love dogs, and I'm gonna get one eventually. But for now, a cat is more doable. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
No, I'm looking forward to you getting wandering across the stream.
And I'm really looking forward to like, because she really likes sitting on shoulders, so I really hope she will be sitting on my shoulder. That will be amazing.
Wow, that'd be great.
Is she an Abyssinian?
And what?
Abyssinian.
No, she's a cat.
No, that is a... Not a resident of the abyss.
I
No,
haven't
that's a
figured
kind of
out if
cat.
she's a demon yet, so I don't know if she's from the abyss or not. But
It's a very common trait for Abyssinians. They like to sit on top of.
I have no idea what that means.
It's a kind of cat.
An Abyssinian cat, they're like tall and skinny and have kind of very tall ears, and they're very, very soft. And they also turn up. They don't really turn up.
Oh, no, she's just a regular old house cat.
Okay.
Gemeine Hauskatze.
She's a minor house cat.
No, gemeine.
A
Gemeine Hauskatze. Gemeine Hauskatze just means regular cat.
Okay.
Like
Gemeine
damsel
Hauskatze.
with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw.
Mhm.
It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played and sang of Mount Abora. Anyway.
Yep. Kubla Khan.
Oh, and she has a cat mark, of course.
Naturally.
Yes.
Naturally. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Like, aside from that, what else is new? Not much. I broke my sewing machine yesterday, which is annoying, but
Well,
I got a
damn
new
it.
one today. So, but yeah, aside from that, nothing interesting to tell, I guess. So I'm just gonna go on ahead and introduce my character, who
All right.
is also a very short person compared to Toddy or anybody else. Which, by the way, I'm just realizing, like, except for one character I played, like, all my characters are shorter than me. I mean, that's not difficult, but because I'm told. But like, I tend to play dwarves and halflings and gnomes a lot.
Are you trying to average out your own height? Do you think is that how that works?
Like, it's like about the grass always being greener on the other side.
Yeah,
of
yeah. on the
root,
other side
I
of the 5 foot line, so to speak.
Yeah, basically. Not hitting your head on things all the time, and just being able to buy clothes that fit.
Yes, I know this feeling. I can relate.
Like, I've been looking to get a leather jacket for myself for like half a year now, because they're in fashion now, so you can get them for good prices, but like not in my size.
You got to get one of the long ones. You got to get the Matrix style,
No, the
long...
problems are the sleeves. Like, the sleeves are always too short, because my arms are like long noodle arms, and it's annoying. But yeah, like, short character. Her name is Inge. She is dwarf. She has a pony and multiple axes, and that's her character.
Very awesome. It's always a pleasure to have Terry back with us. You will also see Terry, excuse me, in addition to this one, of course, you'll see her next month doing an illustration as well, as we are now illustrating doing a live thing of, what the heck were we doing?
Not the Moria one, the Shire one.
The Night of the Nazgul. Yeah, so the Tolkien Tuesdays will continue with us.
Tolkien Tuesdays.
As we do this. Bring it up. Let's see it happen. I can't wait for the estate to be like, yeah, you can't do that. The hashtag Tolkien is not allowed. Like, all right.
Can't
The no fun
trademark
police.
hashtags. I don't think that's legally possible.
Not actually possible. But in any case, thank you, Terry. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, returning to the fold with us is Amal Almatara, who's back with us. It's good to see you, Amal. How are you? And, how's life in the universe and everything?
I am good. I am
How to Lose the Time War TV series when?
No, so I mean, I have been on the road this year almost as much as I've been not on the road, I think. Roughly approaching that number of what is happening?
Don't let me distract you.
All right. Yeah, some kind of like anti-distraction save I have to do. So I've been on the road a lot this year, but I just got back from what is the last travel for the rest of the year. So I just spent the last 10 days or so being either traveling to or being on or leaving from Martha's Vineyard, which is the island where Jaws was filmed.
Indeed.
But also, so in addition to that fact, there's a workshop that happens there every year called Viable Paradise. Not Bible Paradise, which is what some people hear when I say that, but Viable Paradise. And it's a short fiction, it's a it's a creative writing workshop for science fiction, fantasy, and it's a delight. And I had a wonderful time there, met wonderful students, had really great conversations, played a lot of music as well. I took my harp with me, and there's basically every evening, like a bunch of us would just jam and play music and stuff. A lot of people had guitars. Max Gladstone plays the fiddle, in case you don't know. He was there too, and it was really, really lovely. And the driving up and down through Vermont is beautiful this time of year, so it's been really good. I am very trepidatious about catching up on all of the stuff that I missed both in my life and in this game. It's been a long while, and I've been the reason I've been away so much is that I have a new job. I'm teaching creative writing at the University of Ottawa, and there's just a lot of so keeping up with stuff and juggling things has been a bit tricky. And immediately after finishing this game, I will be going to teach for the rest of not just for the rest of the day, until 8:30 p.m. So it's quite long and very exhausting, but we'll see how that goes. But other than that, the Time War stuff has been really, really, really great. This Is How You Lose the Time War is now in its third printing.
Oh man.
And so I'm very happy about that. Third printing and hardcover.
So it's a great book, Amel. It really is a very, very good book. You did very well with it.
Thank you so much. As me. So I play a character called The River, who is a woodsman of Roscobel, and she is a warden. She's a fighty bard, and she is accompanied by her trusty hound of Mirkwood named Stone. Not to be confused with various natural land features being set on fire or otherwise.
Or being crossed or anything like that. New Golden Life, tell class about Adventures of Middle-earth. The last year at CanCon, I actually missed Amel this year at CanCon, but last year at CanCon, Amel and I did a live session. We all did a live session, but Amel and I were in person from the event, and she had a couple of her students in the audience. So she is not shy about telling people about,
I mean, I am shy about telling my literal actual students about it, but I also expect that they will find out. They did find out before, and then they started.
You don't deny it, I guess, is the point.
Yeah. I mean, what can I? No, it's not me. It's my twin who sounds exactly like me, but moonlights or daylights as a Twitcher.
Yeah, it's a common name, your name, and your profession, so, it's like...
Which one is the evil twin? That is a real question.
Right.
Good thing there are no alignments in this system.
I was going to say. Oh, man, just a real-life doppelganger. Exactly, Sage Games, exactly. But it is a great pleasure to have Amel back. It is a great pleasure to have everyone here and to keep on going. And yes, as I mentioned to folks, just as a quick scheduling note, so we will be stopping today at about 1:40 or so, no later than what. Actually, that's a pretty hard stop, is 1:40. So as we are going through, we will try to start these even a little bit earlier than today. Part of that was technical problems, but we will try to start these a little earlier on these Tuesdays to accommodate Amel's schedule. If at some point in the future things change and she can shift back, then we'll shift back to noon. But in the meantime, we love Amel and we want her to play with us, so we're gonna make the accommodation accordingly. And the good news is that probably makes it a little bit even easier for Terry, I assume, so she doesn't it isn't maybe quite as late, I guess, or I don't know.
Well,
anyway,
so far was fine.
Makes it harder
usually
for
we would.
It makes it harder for Trent, but listen, I talked to Trent about this, and Trent's comment to me was, he's like, if I ever figure out a sleep schedule, then I'll be annoyed about it. But until that happens, I'm like, all right, well then, that's where we are.
For me, it doesn't make a difference. On our regular time, we end on 9 p.m. my time. And I usually go to bed at around midnight.
So either way.
It's perfectly fine.
All right. So either way. But that's what we're going to be doing. So with no further ado, let us get into it. I will try to make as sort of quick a summary as I can, so as to accommodate folks who may not have been here for a little while. But the basic sort of detail of it. Wait, I just realized we have no music, and that cannot be. We must start. We must get the music going.
I'm hearing music.
I'm also.
I'm sorry. I should rephrase. You folks always hear the music, but there we go. Now we've got it for chat.
But I have it turned off, so
the chat can hear music. There we go. Hey, what's up, Aaron? So here's the situation as we find it. The party traveled east of Mirkwood to speak directly. Well, for two reasons. Number one, to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the Battle of Five Armies and the fall of Smaug. And also because they wish to speak to Bard and Dine about various activities that needed to be done to the west of the mountains. Inga had been sent to be able to gather information and hopefully support for Woodland Hall. She had been asked by her friend Barinald, who did not survive, sadly, because of the bandit attacks to the west side of Mirkwood. So she agreed to go and return to her home. And also the chance to speak to King Dane was kind of she was specially invited by the king, in fact. So she thought that was pretty cool.
That's why she dressed up for the...
Yes, exactly. I see that. I keep expecting like every half hour there'll be more added to it, so you'll just be a tree by the time we get to the end of it,
Swamp Thing.
Exactly. But anyway, so it was the reason for her to go. Robar was going because after the depredations of Vignold and his cronies to the west of Mirkwood, there were a lot of things that he needed to do to sort of rebuild his ancestral home, and so he traveled to the east to speak to King Bard about getting resources for that. The river had been sent as well and asked specifically by Radagast to be able to help and give information and to gather more information, first of all, about this shadow, which all of the party is somewhat concerned with, but also to be able to support those west of Mirkwood, including, of course, the Woodmen, and that's what they are, of Woodland Hall. And so she went east as well. And Tani, in a remarkable act of self-sacrifice, traveled with his friends to do this, even though it meant returning to the scene of a traumatic place that he would prefer to forget, quite frankly, because of his past existence. And yet he went there, and as it turned out when he arrived, his need for healing, his healing talents were definitely in need. When they arrived at Dale, which was full of celebration and excitement, they ended up participating in some contests of chance, and then attended a great feast, which was in honor of these festivities. And at that time, they had also met a man named Bannock, who was a merchant and had sort of told them about how excited he was for these celebrations. And they also, while they were there, ended up meeting a jester, sort of this professional, so to speak, professional comic, I guess, Herod, who was,
comedian.
Herod the comedian, who was basically excited about what was going on as well. That evening during this feast, however, when Bannock himself apparently showed up and walked to the front of the hall and did all these dances and all these celebrations, then opened a chest and threw out what apparently he thought was going to be a handful of gold, but instead turned out to be a handful of snakes. The chest was full of poisonous snakes, and these snakes flowed and slithered throughout the hall,
Venomous.
Biting.
Venomous.
Did I say poisonous? Yeah, sorry,
Yes,
we have to make clear. Venomous snakes, biting and poisoning many of the people within the hall. And of course, the people within the hall were also, as it turned out, poisoned by the food and drink, not envenomed, but poisoned by the food and drink that they had had already. And the person who people had thought was Bannock turned out to be Herod in disguise. It turned out that Herod had been hired by Bannock to do this and basically tell everyone about this, how they were going to celebrate with money, and then open the chest, and it turned out to be all these snakes. Bannock himself ended up fleeing the premises, and apparently there was some large plot afoot to essentially poison the overwhelming majority of the defenders of Dale and Esgaroth. And so many of the people there were sick and poisoned, and although most of them have actually avoided death thanks to the tending of the healers, and in particular Tani, who was able to rescue many of them, they are in no condition to be able to fight for at least 2 to 3 weeks, during which time, according to a raven who appeared and actually perched on the top of a house within Dale and told everyone this, an onrushing orc army from the south was moving at great speed, trying to head up to Dale. So this is obviously part of a plot. Bard himself then tasked the party with a desperate plan. He was going to try to rally as many of the people as he could from the surrounding countryside, which is going to be difficult because most of them were already there for these celebrations. But in the meantime, he needed the party to go south and try to cut off the army before it could cross the Selduin. If everyone takes a look quickly at your map, you will note that Selduin is down here. There we go. Selduin is down here, the crossings of Selduin, this town that passes over the river. And if they can stop them there, or at least not stop them as much as hold them back, it will give Bard the time that he needs, and also the time for other reinforcements from the Elven King, and perhaps from Dane himself and some of his other dwarven vassals that he can summon to him, for them to arrive and be able to supplement the troops that are up to the north. And so the party agreed to do this and left with a couple of soldiers with them, because they didn't really have many to spare, traveling south. One of those soldiers has already left, and the reason that they've already left is because on the way down, the party ended up discovering finding a boat which ended up having people who, the corpse of one of the guards whose throat had been cut. And the determination essentially was that tracks, presumably of Bannock, had been found leading off from the boat, long since gone. The party did not have time to be able to try to chase and track him down. But apparently he had been the one who had stolen the actual chest of money, had been put up to this for some reason. Nobody knows why, but obviously it must be connected to this larger plot. And so one of the soldiers basically was sent back to warn Bard and give him all of this information, while the rest of the party, plus one soldier, continues on its way south. And the last bit of information that I need to pass on to the party as a reminder about what happened before is that the party had also decided that one thing it might try to do to make the river difficult to cross would be, Tani, do you want to explain this?
It's a dream. I mean, we brought a bunch of oil with us, and the plan is to pour it across the river, and the water river, not our
Please don't set me on fire.
our companion, and at the appropriate time set
Baby
it
burn.
alight. Yeah, and just light the river on fire.
How long would it keep burning?
Good question. And the whole time it would be moving downstream, so we've got to, there's timing issues.
Right. And so as I hand things back over to the party, the last thing that they discovered just after they saw this, and actually I'm going to move tokens down because you're farther south than this. Just as you were heading to the east, you actually ended up discovering a group of herders, basically herdsmen, and sent a note or a message back with them, I believe, to try to warn some of the others, because of course this has just happened, and so none of the people around Dale, the farmers and so forth, know what's happening, and they are obviously at risk if an invading army is going to be going directly, right through them. There was a suggestion, by the way, of sending some of the people to Erebor and basically hold up inside the mountain, and that was essentially rejected because it would leave all of the people in the surrounding lands to their fate, and Bard and Dane, and frankly the party, refused to do that. And so instead, the party is going south at all due speed to be able to try to head off this army. But they found these, sheep and sent a message along with them. I believe they might have. Did you actually end up?
We staple gunned it to the sheep.
Essentially, that's not exactly, but sort of.
No, we shaved it into the fur.
You shaved into the fur, into the wool, basically. Which is like, get out of here, you fools. Fly, you fools, right? And then headed along south. And just as we ended our last session, the party saw a huge and disturbingly targeted group of crows spiraling in your direction. And so
right.
That is where we're going to begin. I will allow anyone to ask a question if they have one, but then we're going to lead off with the crows, and then it'll be up to the party. So anyone have any questions about anything I've brought up so far? Yes.
I do. Is it a dream?
You are pretty confident this is not a dream.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Does he get a roll on that?
Yeah.
So let me just reiterate to try and digest the information you've conveyed.
A lot
to
has
me.
happened. Yes.
A lot has happened. We're heading south in order to head off an army. But we are also trying to warn people that there is an army coming. We have done that as best we can.
Yes.
How far are? Or should I look at the map? How far are we down? Like to the how much time is there between us and the place we want to get to for fights?
So I would say at this point that the path probably, because you do have mounts, so you do have horses. So my guess is you've used about 2 days. So I would say that you're probably about 3 days now from the Selduin. Now, this is assuming that you go at good speed. One of the reasons that you didn't do any more than just like, put the message in the sheep, and that you didn't go after possibly Bannock and all that is because of the time factor. So if you decide to go off and do that, that's going to slow things down, and that may have consequences when you get down to the Selduin. So
And are we on a journey presently?
Yes, you are on a journey indeed.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, and like we changed around the
usual
configuration because like these are known lands for Inge. So Inge is a guide here.
Yep.
And like basically she switched roles with Robar.
Yeah, Tani's the hunter. You are a lookout on this one, River, and Robar is the scout.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. Okay, and we are all together. We're all at full hit points. We're all hale and hearty.
Yes, and just a quick shadow point check-in. Inga's got 4 shadow. Tani has 0. You have 3, River, as we now speak.
Okay. Did I gain any at some point, or was this from before?
This was from before. I don't think you gained any additional. You might have gained 1 during the feast. I don't recall. But I'm pretty sure this is what I have for you, I think, because this is my most recent notes. Yeah.
And I noticed that on my sheet, my warden's gift is at like 1 die less, but that resets after short rests now. So
right. And you would have had a short rest. Now, after this, I do need to point out, you folks know the drill with this. The long rest is not going to happen until you're at a sanctuary or something like that. So you folks know the deal with that. So, that and the fact that, as per usual, you're having to rush somewhere because that's how this goes. Okay, so assuming everyone is clear on that, let's talk a little bit about these crows. So there is this huge flock of crows that you see in the distance. It is definitely coming from the south, and is now, as it gets close, you can see that there are hundreds probably there, and are closing in. Now they're not diving at you, but they are coming in sort of like, over your position. And the flock of crows, as it gets above you, suddenly circles around, and then, circles around, and then you see them almost like a cyclone spiral down towards you. So they're now flying around you, and sort of obviously the horses and Stone is very, kind of really, really nervous. They don't attack, but they are circling around you and just kind of flying around you. And then all of a sudden, they scatter and they go off in every direction.
Are any of them how far away are the crows?
They're pretty close to you. If you wanted to try to get a bow shot on one of them, you probably could. Or you could also make a perception check if you wanted to look at them more closely. But they're pretty close.
Yeah, I would like to do that, please.
I would like to do that also.
Okay, which? The perception or the bow shot?
Perception.
Okay, go ahead and make those checks for me, please.
Wait, that is... That would be 13.
Okay, and I see that we've got a 15 from the river. Both of you can see that these are very clearly not just normal crows, but gore crows, which are out of Mirkwood, and typically are ones that are used for evil purposes. In fact, let me see. Let me have you, because of this being a known land for you, Inga, let me have you make a survival check for me, please. And I think that's probably done at advantage because of known lands or whatever. Or no? Or is that's just
I think
survival,
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Oh, lucky.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, you are, Inga, this behavior is extremely suspicious. Not only the fact that the crows came beelined towards you, but then spun around you and then split into all directions. You would almost be sure that this means that the crows were sent to spy or to mark your area, and in your distance you can see other flocks of such crows in almost these little, as you look, you almost see these little dots on the horizon that have little groups of these crows that seem to be flying in different places, as if they are doing other such scouting things.
Okay, so like I'm gonna assume like Inge would know that, but I don't. Like that it's probably a stupid idea to shoot one of them down because first of all I can't shoot down all of them, and they might attack us, which might be bad. So it would probably be the smarter thing to not shoot them, right?
Okay, I don't know that there's not a sort of no or not no for that. I think it depends on how you want to play it.
Okay.
Not for sure.
Yeah.
As thick as they are, you could probably shoot an arrow and hit like 8.
I bet, I have a feeling that River could just go, just like,
Yeah.
if they're coming in that close, she could probably try and grab for one.
Although they are
Hold your
scattering
axe out
fast.
and
They are scattering fast now. I mean, like they did, just split. Like as I said, they circled around and then and they just went off in every direction. So they are kind of like they may reform, but they are going off quickly. If you want to do that, you'd have to do it fast. Otherwise, it looks like they're heading away from you.
Well, Inge says, this is bad. Like I'm assuming these belong to the orcs, or have something to do with them. So now they know that we are coming.
Yeah. They probably also know exactly where we are.
Yeah. I don't suppose anybody of you is carrying bird repellent or something.
River looks at Tawny as a thing that he might actually have.
I love that he slowly brings out his crow's bane, which he's brought with him.
I just happen to have this.
Anti-shark spray.
Yeah. Yeah, they're now making their way fairly quickly away from you in different directions. The other flocks in the distance do not seem to be, they're pretty far away and they're not heading towards you yet. But they're definitely sort of in groups, so you're staying in kind of constituent groups over there.
Are we able to see from where we are that they are like exhibiting that same behavior wherever they are?
Only that you can tell that they are definitely large flocks because it's a pretty good distance away and you can see them moving around and you can see that there's a few little dots in each one at least. And again, so that's unusual. I mean, like birds go somewhere and go somewhere else. They don't usually just circle in one place unless there's a reason to do so. So yeah, they seem to be staying fairly steady in those areas that you can see them. There's about 3 of those flocks.
Does River know whether these are like? Again, this is me sort of being Tolkien nerdy and stuff, but the crows are used for spying. Ravens, of course, are wise and perfect,
Of
and
course.
and so on.
Oh yeah.
But the crows are used for spying, but that they're not usually used by the orcs, that they're actually used more by like sorcerers and
That's certainly the orcs would not be capable on their own of controlling them. Yes, I think that's good thought, River. Yep.
So River says to those, there are lots of, I know many stories of gore crows and the evil men who send them out. They're the friends of wicked wizards and sorcerers. So if they're here, then presumably it's not just orcs who are looking to fight.
Well, I mean, we
Like,
kind of already know that, like, the creatures that have been, like, attacking these lands since we set out 2 years ago, that they definitely have support from men.
No, that's true. I only mean that for this battle specifically that's coming up, it might do well to think about what we're going to encounter, especially if they know where we are and that we're on our way.
Maybe there's a way we can, what's the word? Make them think that we are going into a different direction than we are planning to?
I don't know how we would do that.
Neither.
I would not without backtracking or trying to add more time to our journey.
of which we have precious little.
Exactly.
So
I
should
mean,
we
I
just
suppose there's always the possibility of trying to split up and confuse them, but they can point out where we are, whether we're a large group or a small
Yeah.
one.
and also they are faster than we are, so and they can see better. So all we can do right now is just venture on,
Hmm.
or does anybody have any ideas on what to do?
I think we have to venture on, although I think that the more things that we can do that will be surprising, up to and including lighting water on fire, that might be a good thing to bear in mind. They know where we are, where we're going, and probably how fast we can get there, but they don't know us. And that's something to bear in mind.
Well said. So, assuming that you are now heading off again, and kind of proceeding downwards. Let me just make sure I get that correct there. Okay. Right. Okay. So, I was like, what happened to my dice roller? And I realized I hadn't fired it up. There we go. So, all right. So, you, as you make your way towards continuing to follow the same path. So basically, as you head down here to the south, off to the west, you can actually see a fairly large stand of trees, almost like a small forest. Clearly to the east of, since it's to the east of the running river, it means that it's not part of Mirkwood, but there may be some, it usually is on the other side, probably, of the Long Marshes, which is obviously a very dangerous area. But as you continue to proceed down that path over the next couple of hours, you can see those groups of, those flocks of crows that I mentioned, kind of retreating almost from you. Like they basically seem to be taking the same distance in each case. And then when you get to the spot where you would swear they would have been, they are now vanished. So they seem to have flown somewhere as you were heading towards them. Whether it's because they saw you or whether it's because they just had other places to go, you don't know. But by the time you get to this area, the flocks of crows have largely vanished. Yeah.
Did we see in which direction they flew?
Yeah, as you were getting closer, they sort of traveled both off to the southeast. So I'll freehand it. Like roughly, they were going like that way. If you had to guess.
Okay.
So
That's not good.
So as you head down that evening, the night is clouded and somewhat chill, and as you sort of set up camp, you hear all sort of the sound of distant howls. Not a whole group, don't worry, but distant howls. You hear some. You hear the sound of what sounds like sort of dark and brooding, almost like a dark caw, like as if it was some large bird or winged creature which makes some call far in the distance. And all of these sounds that I mentioned are coming from the south. All of them are just, on the southern path.
Can I get a survival check to make out what type of bird is making that caw sound?
Sure. Absolutely.
So that would be a 22.
You have never heard a bird make this sound. And that suggests to you that it is not something from these lands.
Okay. Great. I wish I didn't have done.
Never mind. I forget everything I just thought of.
Roll to forget.
Tony, hit me in the head with this hammer until I forget.
But otherwise, though, the rest of that evening passes uneventfully, essentially. And the next day, as I move up with that, there we go. Okay. All right. The next day, as the as the morning begins to break on the horizon, you, as you were sort of traveling along, you hear, let's see, this sound. Okay. As you wake up, you hear the sound of movement, and this is actually the River You that hears this. You hear the sound of over this small little hill, which is on the other side of where you set up your camp there largely because it was therefore not as visible to people that were sort of in the landscape. This area here is fairly flat, so having something where you're not visible for miles would probably be a good idea. And so on the other side of this hill, you hear movement, and actually the movement in question, it is the movement that you've got actually is what sounds like a horse kind of galloping along the road, or I should say the path, really.
This is while I'm keeping watch, or is
it's at just as the morning is breaking. So basically, yeah, the party is not quite woken up, but it's close. So.
I was going to wake them all up and feel like there's a sound of horses' hooves. Someone's riding. Can I get a sense if they're riding towards us, or?
It sounds like they are sort of, if you had to guess, sort of moving perpendicular to the path, as if they're crossing over it. Sounds like it's heading to the east.
I haven't made a perception check. Should I do that?
You can do that if you wish, if you want to gain more information about it. I should say one thing that's clear is that it's not going fast.
Okay.
It's not galloping.
Yeah, I want to take a closer look as well, if I may.
You were asleep at the moment.
But she woke us up.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you just did that, I'm sorry. Then that's fine.
Yeah. So 18.
15.
Okay. All right. So the sound of the horse, it sounds like it's definitely something on a horse for sure. And it does not sound like a large group. It sounds like maybe, if you had to guess, one creature that's on the back of this horse. And it seems to be more in a trot than in a gallop.
Okay.
And that's just what you're able to hear. Obviously, you'd need to go up to the top of that little hill if you wanted to see more.
River is lookout, so she's going to go and do that.
Okay. When you get over the hill, just on the top of it, and by the way, are you kind of like confidently striding, or are you kind of carefully making your way up to the top and like peering over it, like lying flat basically to avoid detection, or what?
Yeah, being stealthy.
Okay. So when you get to the top of this hill and you can look down, you can see that not all that far away, actually. Maybe a trick of the acoustics made it seem even farther than you might have thought, but it's actually not that far away, maybe 500-600 feet. You can see what looks like a bent over and cloaked figure on the back of a horse. And the horse just looks like a kind of a grayish, horse that looks like it's got some, like it's a good, sort of mature horse that is good for riding, you would guess, but otherwise seems nondescript. And the cloak itself is dark, and the figure, as I said, is hunched over, almost bent, almost double down to the neck of the horse, and is moving not particularly fast, just sort of in a light trot. And as you sort of peer over and see it, you can see the horse slows down considerably, and the cloak kind of just slightly turns in your direction.
Is my shadow sense tingling?
No.
No? Because I do have one of those.
Right.
So are you Shadow Man if you have a shadow sense?
Right.
Like Spider-Man having a spider sense?
Shadow Man.
Man.
But yes, her dark
Shadow
foreboding
Man.
has a sixth sense of source when in the presence of shadow. So
Right. This does not feel like shadow to you, although the motion is all very suspicious, but it doesn't, your sense of shadow does not have this feeling.
Hunched over, you say?
Yes.
In a dark cloak. Do I get the sense from looking at the way that this cloak is worn and this hunching and stuff, that it's like hiding from the sun, or just like
That's not clear. It's not like piled up. It's not like some, ridiculous cloak where there's like tons and tons of it.
Okay.
But it definitely has the effect of concealing the rider. And in fact, the rider could be tall or short. It's hard to tell just because of the way that the cloak is positioned and the rider is positioned on the horse.
And how far is the rider? Like
A few hundred feet.
A few hundred feet. All right.
The horse now has come almost to a stop, and the cloaked figure has just slightly turned its head towards you.
Can they see me? Am I visible?
You don't know.
Interesting.
You shouldn't be.
Okay, trying to visualize this space. So like the camp is roughly where everyone is, right? Like
right,
here?
and that's behind you at the moment, below the crest of the hill.
So I'm somewhere like here-ish now?
Yeah, I would say so. The camp is a few hundred feet behind you. You're on top of the hill, and this thing you're looking at is a couple hundred feet in front of you.
And they're riding. Where were they riding from, and where are they riding to?
It looks to you as if they were riding basically this way, so west to east.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, if they're looking in River's direction, River's going to stand up and shout, "Hail!"
And the cloaked figure kind of raises its head a little bit more, and then you sort of see it just kind of peer in your direction, and then it turns the horse, and the horse walks really, maybe just barely trots over to you, and as it gets close, you have this sense, River, of some almost movement in the air might be a way to describe it, as if the air pressure itself changes a little bit. There's no obvious wind, but it feels as if there's in fact, the opposite. It feels as if there's kind of a stillness as this thing approaches. And then emanating from below the folds of the cloak and the hood, it says, "Well, what a strange sight to be seen for sure. A woodsman, apparently, and calling upon those who travel through this land. I would ask what you are doing here, but that perhaps would be ill manners on my part. So I will simply say hail in return to yours." It's an old, cracking voice. Sounds almost like twigs kind of breaking on a tree that has been laid bereft by winter.
Is there an accent that I can identify?
Not. There might be an accent, but it's sort of one of those that the voice is so quavering that it's kind of hard to get a feel for it. So not an obvious one.
River is this is a very unsettling presence. Yes, I'm not.
Well, yeah. I don't want you to get the idea of it. The shadow is not. It's unsettling. Yes, I just don't want you to get a feeling of.
It's not a wraith. It's
no.
just. Okay. River is looking at this individual with some curiosity as well as wariness, and says, "I believe it speaks well of one to remember manners even when so far out into the Wilderland. But these are dangerous places for anyone to travel by oneself. Would you share any thoughts of where you are going, or news of where you've come?"
News from where I've come. That is a curious, though fair question. In dark days like these, one tends to shoot first and ask questions later. I come from elsewhere, and I am going to my destination. I would ask, though, what your destination is here in this fair land. There is little of value, though the farmers and the herdsmen might disagree. But I would, of course, be speaking from ignorance, for I am not from this place.
This person is very scary. I am scared. River is not scared. I am
Personally scared, but not.
I am personally scared. That is a very effective voice.
Thank you.
No, make it stop. I should have probably said whether or not Stone came with River. I didn't actually think about that.
If you want Stone to have come with you, that's okay with me.
Okay. How is Stone reacting to this person?
Stone, as you look over, has his ears sort of flat back on his head, but he doesn't have his hackles raised. He sort of almost seems to be duplicating your reaction in that he's kind of like curious, maybe, would be the way to describe it.
Right. I forget, did he have a question in that? Or he was just saying that he was going from somewhere to somewhere?
To somewhere, and and he basically asked where you were going, yeah.
He said, so Herber says, I'm traveling to where I'm needed. And would always appreciate knowing of any such need as a warden of these lands as much as I can be.
And there's sort of a pause, and then, a warden of these lands, you say? I am most impressed. The need indeed is great for those to defend this place. There is a darkness coming, a dark shadow that threatens to overwhelm these lands, and there will be need of heroes, great heroes in the end. And the voice sort of falls silent, and for the first time you can see that the horse on which the rider is sitting is just sort of standing perfectly still, and the rider draws themselves up slightly, still kind of hunched over, and says, I believe there have been searching flocks of crows through this place. Have you seen them?
I have.
And the nods, like below the folds of the hood, you can sort of see the head probably nodding, and then, what do you make of it? Where do you think those creatures might come from?
Tales of gore crows speak of them launched from the hands of wicked men, trying to gather information in order to harm the folk of the countryside. Their appearance bodes ill, and they are to be avoided if possible. What do you know of them?
Your description matches with mine. They do indeed mean ill, I suspect. They seem to take particular notice of those who would return the light to these lands. It perhaps might have been better to retreat from these things, to return to places of safety. Why not travel back to Erebor and seek safety and sanctuary within its walls? Why ride forth to meet the darkness?
River just kind of sort of tilts her head and squints at this question like it is the most nonsensical question. Like, why have you not been listening to the Shape of Purple sort of and she says, with far less hesitation than I am as I try to formulate her response.
Right. I follow.
She says, so long as anyone is unable to take shelter and harbor in Erebor, how possibly could I, if there is anything that could be done? That is the job of a warden. That is one's purpose. To ride through and protect and help those who need it. No one within the walls of Erebor needs help. But it's possible, or so I hear, that those farther south may. Tell me, traveler, if you would, do you count yourself among those who try to bring the light to these lands?
And then there is a pause, and then the stranger says, I have been known to travel here and there and shedding what light I may. I am perhaps sometimes more safely found in the gray shadows, but at other times I have been known to come forth into the light. I do not serve the shadow, and the shadow would not serve me.
Who is this person?
God damn it, why don't you tell me?
I
Are you getting confused? No, I'm just kidding. Give me 1 second just to grab one thing.
Sure.
Had I been thinking, Robar would have come up behind at some point, and when he said, "Yeah, there are those who wish to would shoot first and ask," he would have popped up and been like, "Can do."
I'm literally sitting here going, Gandalf in disguise, going like, it doesn't make any sense because wasn't he like there? And am I misremembering, by the way, that Gandalf was? No, we met Gandalf. We were there. Yeah. And so it doesn't make any sense that he would be there. And
the other thing was when he said, why not go back to the airborne? My hackles went up. I was like, who said
how
that?
do you know? Right? Yeah. No, exactly. No, River noticed that as well, and but didn't belabor it. Yeah. Who the hell is this guy? I don't like that.
Maybe he's one of the two blue wizards. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
2 by 2 hands of blue.
Oh, don't do that.
So
He's one of the old men who live in a cave in all of the Zelda games, right?
Right, exactly. There's always one of those. So
Dangerous to go alone.
So the stranger bows their head and says, "Well, I have no doubt taken too much of your valuable time already. I would ask," and they stop and sort of look up at you again, face still well concealed. "Do you intend to continue to the south? Do you intend to stop the shadow when it tries to cross the river? You can see it coming even from here." And kind of tilts his head back, and again you can see far in the distance. You don't see anything exactly, but that is of course where originally you saw the crows in the south, although you're now obviously where you saw them originally, so and you don't see anything new, but that's where the stranger seems to be looking.
Do you know of any compelling reason why we should not go?
And there's a long pause, and then... Survival, maybe. Perhaps you would feel safer elsewhere. But you have made clear that you believe your duty is to help others. And if that is your wish, then south is your path.
Who
And-
are you?
And the sort of horse steps back a couple of steps. And then you hear... When the dawn rises, you will see me again. And perhaps at that time, things may not go altogether ill. And then the stranger tosses something on the ground, wheels the horse, and rides off like on fire, like seeming like almost like on fire. Just like books it, heading straight to the east at incredible speed, like just, you know, the opposite of exactly what was going on with the cloak flying out behind them in the wind. And there is just this small little object on the ground.
That's not ominous or anything.
Litterbug.
Seriously, what the hell? River goes towards the object cautiously.
It's a grenade.
It's
Yeah,
exactly. It's a grenade.
Oh, well, back for one session. There we go.
This was a good time, but no. It is. It seems to be a. It sort of shines in the grass a little bit as you look at it, and as assuming you bend down to take a look, it looks like some kind of. Originally, it looks almost like a clear gem, but totally smooth though, like a smooth.
Like cabochon.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. What
Cabochon is when it's like a like polished into no facets.
Yes, that would be okay. Then that's
How do you spell that?
yeah, that's an awesome word. I actually
Easy.
didn't know about that one.
Cabochon. Cabochon.
Okay.
So like when you
polish.
when you facet gems, you can either when you polish gems, you can either use a lathe to facet them, or you can tumble them together until they all smooth each other. And then that's how you get like the really polished, smooth.
Yeah, my grandfather used to do that. I just didn't know that that's what it was called, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
So yes, that would be what this is. It's completely pure, like just clear. You think, and then as you pick it up, you notice that. Actually, make a perception check for me. I should say before I say anything.
Also, I'd love to get like stones if Stone could sniff at it or something.
Sure. Stone sniffs at it, but there doesn't seem to be any discernible smell.
Oh,
Take,
that's
you know?
take the 23.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think I'll do that.
When you hold it up, as the dawn now has broken, so you can now see the sort of the light kind of sparkling through the gem, and as you sort of look behind you, you see that the light sparkles through an area, so that there seems to be just kind of a I'm saying shadow, but I don't want you to be like, wait, shadow? Like, not that shadow, just like a literal sort of image that's left on the grass. Like, the light shines through, and there is apparently the inside of the gem has been cunningly worked so as to leave what looks like a symbol of some kind that just is on the grass behind you. So you can actually see this shadowy symbol. It is some kind of, it looks like maybe a rune of some kind.
Cool. Okay, so first I'll make a. That's Lagoon.
Oh, it's an L. Great.
Yes.
Oh, it's Legolas, obviously.
Lagoon's last.
Or liar. God damn it.
Is there what sort of check do I need to make to see if I recognize the rune?
Lore. Or history, I guess, would be the equivalent.
Landalf.
Yeah, Landau.
Laragast.
Yeah, you're like, that's a rune.
A rune. Okay, so River is going to pick this up and basically book it back to the camp with Stone.
Okay.
And then relay verbatim this conversation with this strange person. And specifically also is going to note the horse that seemed totally normal until it became preternaturally fast.
Yep.
And like, it totally seems like Gandalf in disguise on Shadowfax, but like, maybe not. I don't know. I know Gandalf goes in disguise a lot, but it was really creepy. I don't like it. So this is not what River says. River is just like, it's all a very strange man. I don't believe this. Anyway, not even, she doesn't say man, a strange person. But yeah, relays that conversation which you all witnessed. And then shows the rune and shows the thing that it, the gem and the rune projection thing that it does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like? Do you have a picture for us or anything?
No, she can make you see it. Like if the
No. I mean, Arf.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like, I will try to, oh god, here we go. Now Arv's incredible skill at drawing, by which we mean not in the least. Okay, so it looks like,
Well, that would be an F in
I was gonna
Futhark,
say, yeah.
but that's not an F, that's a G in Dwarven runes. And I'm assuming, like I said that because I'm assuming Inga knows Dwarven runes, like just as a
Inga has
hunter.
no ability. Yeah, no, I'd say that's a pretty good guess.
And y'all can also
Or
lore check.
number 19, apparently.
I'm actually reasonably pleased with myself. That's better than I thought I was going to do. That's not bad for me.
Isn't that an Elvish rune?
No, that's a dwarf rune.
Is it dwarf rune? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see any angles in it, so I thought.
Yeah, I'm
that-
sorry that it's underneath that other thing on the map. Ignore that part. It's,
Yeah.
Oh, there are
so-
dots, like the dots.
There are
also
dots.
yeah,
belong
here,
to-
let me put that like that.
Oh, no, then it's probably not a dwarf.
Yeah, it's more like an elven one. Anyway, so River is showing this going, I don't recognize this rune. Do either of you? Lore checks.
There are three
Inga
of us.
says, I'm gonna do a lore check to know if I can read this. No. Right. Where's lore? Yeah.
Definitely
Yay,
a
no
rune.
Clue.
Certainly a rune.
This is the role of determining that this rune is difficult to place.
So
You actually question whether the river's right about it being a rune. You're like, you sure it's a rune? Like,
So, thus queried, Tawny and Robar will both see if they know anything about it. I doubt that Tawny would. It doesn't seem right that he would, but
He does a lot more reading than everyone else does.
He gets a 10, and Robar gets a. Watch, he's gonna kick ass on this roll. 8.
Hey!
um,
King of the Vale, Rider of Eagles. When did that happen?
so, so if it is indeed, the dots aren't necessarily in the right place. If it were to be Elvish, but if it does look sort of like almost like a cross between an Elvish and a Dwarvish rune, and as close as Robar can remember, that's a G.
Oh, so like in Dwarvish, it's also a G.
It's fucking Gandalf! That was totally Gandalf! Okay. Alright. I feel better now.
Or
Sorry.
or Gigantor, evil wizard from the.
I love it took until
It's
like
Gloin.
it took 1, 2, like how many rolls did it take for us to determine what
All of them.
what
all of the runes.
Sorry, determined from the first it's a G. It's like
Well, given the fact that he rode off to the east and then the sun came up, I'm certain it stands for Gilavata.
yes.
Mm.
Definitely no. It's good to know that Gandalf's eventual like fetish for dawn and daybreak and arriving at times that Like, the man clearly just doesn't want to declare an arrival time because he is not very punctual.
Always arrives exactly when he means to, if as far as that goes. But
Damn what you want. He's arriving when he means to.
it's great. It's great. I just love the idea that this kid's like a dress rehearsal for his eventual Lord of the Ringsing it. But yes. Anyway, cheat.
Oh, like we need to say something about this stupid runes. Like I'm just looking at like a picture like that depicts all the dwarven runes, and it's like, because like I've been learning like the Elder Futhark like in the past month, and it's like, what the hell, Tolkien?
Yeah.
None of the runes match up. It's like the Z is an N, the K is an S, the F.
To be fair, is because like I think Tolkien's runes are like the dwarven ones are the Futhark, but the Elvish ones are more Brittonic.
Right.
I think.
Right.
So they're a little bit different. They're more like they're.
And I believe this rune is one of the ones that was in the moon letters on the side of the map. That.
Yeah, the 3 feet hide the door and 5 feet hide the door and 3 should walk abreast.
3 walk abreast. Yep.
Anyway, so awfully pretty business card. Definitely want to start doing that myself. Anyway, so River says, G?
Yeah.
I'm like Gandalf, but I don't know. I don't think River actually. I mean, they've met Gandalf, but they.
Yes.
Actually, maybe Radagast has talked about. If Radagast has ever talked about Gandalf's propensity for disguise and like this sort of thing, then I think River could put that together.
Possibly.
Gadagast.
It's still a guess. I mean,
It's still a guess.
Because
the
also
G stands for guess.
there's other people who can throw stones with runes that say G on them at people. I mean, like,
No.
Yeah.
It's not like they're obligated to like, nope, that'll be bad form to use a G rune if I'm not G.
So
The
what's
G is for gangster. But,
G is
so
for
what's
good
east
try,
of
but
here?
wrong.
What's east of here anyway that he could be riding towards to?
yeah.
Like because there is nothing, I think.
What is east of there?
Yeah, well, if you were to, just looking, it's not on this map. If you were to head to the east, and let me bring us up to West Vales, turning to Woodland. There we go. Let's jump over to the Wilderland Adventure map for a second. To the east is two things actually.
Oh yeah, the Iron Hills.
The Iron Hills.
Oh.
And also is Redwater, which is the split that comes off of, one becomes the running river, which goes to the west, and Redwater goes directly to the north and then cuts west. So the direction that he's going, that would lead him to the Iron Hills, yeah.
Aha.
Wait, no, Redwater goes to the south.
Well, whatever. My point is that, like, yeah, either way. My point is that, yeah, that's right. It joins the running river in the south,
Right.
is what I should say. I meant that it just splits off, so...
All right. Well, okay. So River is going to. So River's going to sound this out. She's going to go. It was a strange encounter because they didn't seem foul or they didn't make me feel like any of those shadowed creatures made me feel before that we've encountered, but they were by themselves. And they seemed to know that I was there without me being immediately visible. And they seemed, all their questions seemed to be about the shadow and turning it back and whether or not we would, and whether or not we would go back to safety. Or it was, it was one of those conversations that feels like a test. A little like the way that Irame spoke to us when we were on the boat with her that time. Was it a boat? I don't know. When we were traveling with Irame and she spoke of the Lady of the Woods. There's always that sort of riddle speak or double speak where they want to make themselves seem unsympathetic in order to see how you react. So I thought it might be someone who was in fact a friend, but why they wouldn't reveal themselves? Oh, no, perhaps they wouldn't reveal themselves because of the crows. Perhaps.
Or it's because all wizards are a bit,
That's true. Well, if we know that if that was Gandalf, and I don't know why they would toss a stone with a G on it otherwise.
Because they are, like I said, that's why they toss stones around. So
if it was Gandalf and he's making for the Iron Hills, that can only help us. But it does mean we must make more haste to continue south.
Why would he waste the time with such a ruse? He knows exactly how committed we are. Would be no reason
don't
to
question
test us at all.
Don't question him, honestly. Like, there are tales about this person where you just start to scratch your head so hard you will make your skin bleed. So,
I can only believe that it was because he knows we're being watched. In which case, perhaps having this conversation is a bad idea.
Oh yeah, that was my uncle. My uncle's cousin. Like Inga says, like really loudly.
I had this image actually of you saying this and then turning around and just having like 15 crows just staring at you, like behind you. Like, maybe we're being watched.
Anyway.
And that rune like reads as an F, not as a G. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely F for Fangorn.
Oh yeah, we are going to Fangorn.
We're fans of Gorn. Anyway, River shares this information and in hushed voices, and then says, "But we have to press on."
And the sun is now clearly above the horizon, so there's now shafts of light.
Yes. Yeah, I doubt this whole exchange took more than 20 minutes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
By the way, I read something, like, because these are known lands, I can make a long rest happen at some point if we need it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I know safe places. Like, at once per known land travel, I can do that.
Awesome.
If there should be a need for that, then Inga can bring you to a safe place.
All right. So, so in that case, you folks are heading back on the road, if I understand this correctly.
Yes, time is of the essence.
All right. Most of that day actually passes relatively uneventfully as you continue to proceed south. You do not see any more of the flocks of crows, and you do hear occasional sort of howls in the distance and so on, but nothing specific. There is definitely a sort of a troubling lack of other wildlife. I mean, you do hear an occasional bird overhead, not a crow, but obviously going somewhere else, but less and less.
Ostrich.
Sorry?
An ostrich.
Yeah, an ostrich, yes. The occasional platypus. I don't know if it make a sound. But as you proceed on that way, and as you head towards the Nether Marshes, which is, of course, where the Selduin, as I move there, which is where Selduin itself, the crossings at Selduin can be found, things get a little bit sort of quieter in general. And as you're about to cross into the Nether Marshes, I should just briefly talk a little bit about what you know about this area. And Inga, of course, knows about this because of these being sort of lands that she knows. So the Upper Marshes, as I said, or the Upper Marches, sorry, Marches, not Marshes. The Upper Marches are, as I said, flat with these rolling hills. There are some hills, the hills are not very large is my point. But as you get close to the Nether Marshes, these are really just sort of low, long plains. and it's essentially a large valley which is bounded by the river running to the south and then the red water to the east. And so this area, this is really the frontier of the Kingdom of Dale. The Bardings have never really gotten this far south, at least not yet. And so you have left behind the land of, farmers and family and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of bracken and nettle banks and scattered rocks and strong wind and stuff like that. And on one occasion, as we cross into, I think, the next day or next night and day, so basically a day and a half after your encounter with whatever that stranger was, you several times hear great galloping noises, and it would make you nervous, except that as you look, you can see that they are these large groups of horses, presumably wild horses, galloping here and there among the plains, clearly not heading towards you. This doesn't look to be any kind of like a spy situation, but there are a lot of these wild horses that travel back and forth, and you happen to know, Inga, having heard rumors of this before, that these are particularly fast. You notice that Lilliman kind of is very... Oh, wait, no, Lilliman didn't come with you. I'm sorry.
No,
Right?
he's not. I sent him back.
You left it, right, so never mind. So forget about Lilliman. But Stone, for sure, is very interested in sort of like these horses as they zip along. A couple of times you see them kind of pass close enough that you can actually see a little bit of their features, these very strong, muscular horses that gallop freely along the plain and neigh and kick up, by the way, large clouds of sort of dust and, weeds and grass as they pass along. On the afternoon of the, I guess this would be now the fourth day, you arrive at a place where the river running begins to bend to the east, and you've been far enough away that you haven't had the river, like it's just on the edge of your sight, basically here to the west. But this is where you start kind of moving over to the east to follow it, because you didn't want to cross over the river until you got close to where the crossings actually are. And I need, as this afternoon passes, a perception check from the lookout from the river, please.
I'll be right.
Those of you listening at home or watching the stream or whatever, I would remind you that this is the end of the month. So if you have those inspirations left, now's a great time to use them.
Now is a good time to use them. That's right. It's an unladen European swallow. Okay. The first thing that you hear, not too far away, but in the distance, but not like way in the distance, you hear a... And it sounds very much like voices, harsh voices, along with growling, which are definitely not the same voices.
No. And they are ahead of us.
Yes, they are ahead of you. Oh, thank you for the inspiration, Erdinel, of Tawny Bear.
No
Sounds
way.
good. Enjoy rest of work, Lone Wolf. Thank you for stopping by. So yes, they are ahead of you. And the sound seems to be getting louder, as if this is approaching you.
River tells the rest of them about this. It sounds like orcs and wargs in the distance. Is there any cover around us at this point? Is there any?
There actually, make another perception check for me, actually, please. You can do this at +2, actually.
Or is it the something?
I don't know. +2 is 9.
9. So the only thing that you note for sure is to the east of your path, not too far away, is what looks like a set of stones. And if you had to guess, this might be like an area you've seen before. A lot of these barrows and things like that as you've proceeded this way, fallen stones, presumably the dwelling places of long dead chieftains, in time from a long time ago, and barrows, graves as well, and monuments. So you see a few of those fallen, like an area of fallen stones like this, and it stands out because it's, this is a pretty flat area, off to the east. You could probably get there, if you rode to it, you could probably get there in about 10 minutes. The sound continues to get louder from the south, so you might just be able to get there before the voices were close enough that whatever it is could see or hear you or be seen and heard.
So River starts gesturing people towards they're saying there's orcs in the distance, but it looks like we could maybe take cover there before we engage them. This feels like Zombies Run, where you start to hear the zombies and you have to run. That is my insight here. If you sound remarkably like that, for any of you who has not played Zombies Run, I'm not being paid by Six to Start to say this, but it is very effective at making you run a little faster to not get eaten by the zombie.
Indeed.
So are we moving towards the rocks?
I think that might be wise.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So you make your way over to the rocks, and indeed, as you get close, you can see that it must have been one of those barrows from before. You can see a few of these larger stone monuments essentially fallen over the top. There's basically 4 or 5 of these large stones. One of them is broken in half and is just sort of the top of it is crumbled next to it. One of the other ones is leaning over precipitously, but the other ones are basically, more or less intact. And as you get to this place, you're actually sort of in that spot, and you can now hear the sound of these voices, and you can now see things coming into view. This group of figures walking along, there are 5 creatures sort of moving along with their hands and arms kind of closer to the ground, shuffling along, and next to them are 2 large and evil-looking wolves that are with them. And you can see that they sort of stop at one point and look around, and then they seem to be talking to each other. You can't make out exactly what they're saying. And then a couple of the creatures move off to the side, and as they get a little bit closer, you can see that these are undoubtedly orcs. And these orcs, a couple of these orcs sort of take up what look like perimeter positions, basically, while the other couple of orcs work on what looks like clearing out an area in the middle. It looks like they're sort of setting up a camp. And every so often, you can just hear from this distance, and the wolves kind of seem to be like walking around the camp very slowly, led by an orc in each case, and perhaps they're sort of like, I don't know, sniffing out the area, perhaps, something like that.
And there are 4 of us in stone. No, we have soldiers too, right?
You have 1 soldier.
1 soldier. So 5 of us, 5 of them. We have stone. They have 2 wargs.
We have a Hulk.
We have a Hulk.
Well, Dave.
Well, we
I'm not a
actually
fighter.
kinda do.
I'll kill.
Sun's getting real low.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
River looks to Inga and Robar and says, "Do you think you can shoot them from this distance?"
Oh, you
already
betcha
got
I
his
can.
bow out.
He's-
Like Inge. Like Inge
Leroy
is just...
Robar! Robar Jenkins, that's how I should have said that.
Robar Jenkins.
Yeah.
One of the orcs, as you're sort of sighting down, kind of makes his way and seems to be talking with someone else. And as they get a little closer, they still obviously are way too far to see you. But you can now hear, maybe the wind shifting of the wind has meant that you can now catch snatches of their conversation. And one of them is larger and seems to be better armored than the other one next to him. And you catch sort of, filthy smell, creature. And the other one, that is never gone this way. Shut your mouth. They seem to be arguing about something regarding the direction that they're going.
I love how orcs never are just like chatting companionably to each other. They're always arguing. This is good. That was a querulous race.
Such a
No,
kind meal.
it was a fine meal. I'm just saying I wish there were more sage.
I really appreciated all of what you did with the extra condiments that was there, and
And thank you for darning my socks. That was wonderful.
that was really nice of you.
Really appreciate you. Let's hug it out.
How's Carolyn?
Oh God! All right. Next question: Is it possible? So the area that we're in, the kind of stony area, is it one clump? Does it extend a little bit? Is it something that, like, if two people, like, can people with bows move to slightly different positions? And
You might be able to get two such things, but not more than that. There's not really a lot of extra room.
right.
So yeah, you might be able to get like bowmen in two different places if you wish.
Like-
So yeah.
Iga already starts sneaking around to the
Yeah.
other side.
And like basically, as much as the extremely enthusiastic bow wielding ranged people are going, River will try to say, like, if you can get some shots off before we move in, maybe I can, like, give you some cover, sort of thing.
Iga just stops as she's about to sneak away, turns around slowly, is like, if there are gonna be any more left for you, then sure.
Okay, and continues to make her way.
Cool.
They've now gotten close enough that you can hear more of the conversation. The two orcs that are coming over, sort of speaking to each other. And one of them says to the other, "The truth is, Ragak, that you never should have taken us this way. And the most of the army's south, you know that." "Arr," the other one says. "You keep your mouth shut, Arnak, or I'll shut it for you. You know the Gibbet boss told us to head out this way in the first place. I ain't got control over what they do." "You'll say things in a different way," responds Arnak. "Say things in a different way if it turns out we get ambushed over here. We're not going to have enough people north of the river once we get there. And even if we do, how do we know we're not going to get an army the other way?" And Ragak responds, "That's as you know. You ain't spoke to him, but I've seen him up close, I have. I know what the Gibbet boss can do. The size of the army. And it ain't just the people that he's got on the ground, mind. It's others. He's gonna have those working for him. I heard most of the people up north have gotten their filth poisoned. We won't have much of an army to find by the time we get up there. We'll see. I don't like this land. It's too open. Stinks of health." He kind of spits on the ground. And the other one says, Ragak responds, "You just listen to orders and you'll do fine. And the rest of the lads too. I'm having this conversation with you because I want you to make it clear to them. Maybe they ain't the same kind of orc, but we're all the same side here. We work for the Gibbet boss, you got me?" And the other one says, "For now. But if things change around, me and the lads ain't gonna wait to be spitted because you don't know how to lead 'em." "Ah," Ragak says, and they kind of sort of stop, and then they're kind of looking off. And one of them points at the stones, now not that far off, and says, "That's a damned grave site for one of the human kings. I bet we brought them too close through. Maybe my great-grandfather slit our throats, eh?" And they all sort of laugh, and they both laugh and kind of look up at the stones. So they're now these two. Yeah, I don't understand. Well, he's got a sub now. Well, if he's tier 2, if he's tier 1, he's not going to have a sub to give. It would be only if he's tier 2 or if he supported the Patreon at the $10 level. So that would be why. These are the people that would. How about I actually do that on the sheet?
Oh, a bunch of people were inspiring the river. I didn't even see.
We're trying to.
Oh, you know what? The bot may be fouled up.
Rip.
Oh wait, I know.
So
why,
much
'cause I
for
did
the
it wrong.
robot uprising.
No, I did it wrong. There we go. Okay, so these are the people who still have it. Yeah, Tren doesn't have one.
Thanks, though, Tren.
You can inspire just by your statements. Lone Wolf used theirs, I think, and that's why theirs didn't work. So this is working right. It should just pop up a thing that should say you can't do it. You don't have to. Oh, yeah, because you used one of them. You have one, though, I believe, Echo, right? Let me just remove one of those from you. Move Echo _X5. There we go. All right, now you should be good. Okay. So, yeah, so you've got those two orcs, Ragak, who's the bigger one, and Arnak, smaller one. And then you have the remaining, what are we talking about there? I think it's three more, if I'm not mistaken, orcs that are about Arnak's size that are over by the, in quotes, camp. And then the two, and then the wolves, the two wolves that are there. And the two wolves are back by the camp. So you basically got these two close to you, and then the rest of them are back by that camp.
I'd like to shoot the biggest one.
Okay.
Robar will take the other.
Okay, and I assume you're doing one of these like 1, 2, 3, right? Like you're trying to coordinate it so as
Yeah,
to...
and of course, Inga, being who she is, as Robar is going 1, 2, bing! She just goes ahead.
Wait, do we go on 1, 2, or we do go Is it 1, 2, 3?
Well, I mean, because he's got to count to 3 and then grab the bowstring again. So he's like, oh.
Okay. So, all right.
Do we have advantage because it's an ambush or something?
Surprise attack.
Surprise attack.
The advantage that you're getting is the fact that you're getting in a free shot on them. So I'm afraid my answer to that must be no.
Okay, in that case, that would be a 14.
Okay, so 14, and then Robar. And
how far away are they?
They're now probably within 100 feet.
Oh, okay, then great bow, definitely. Pink!
Dork.
Pink.
12.
Did it roll? I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it either.
I got a 12 and a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Where is it?
I super don't see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys see my attack?
I
saw your
see
attack.
Inga's.
Yeah. Roll20's been a little erratic of late. I noticed this was happening with the Curse of Strahd. It happened a couple times, right, Tren? That we saw it. So anyway,
sure, yeah.
Okay. So,
Oh wait, I do get 2 attacks.
Actually, I think Robar does as well.
Oh, 20!
Woo!
Oh, hello, Wise Growth. Welcome. Okay, and a 20. Oh, wow. Yeah. So
Unnatural though.
Oh, right. Okay. Still though. I love the fact that every time is Inga, daughter of Ida. Like is the actual person rolling it. It's not just Inga, it's Inga, daughter of Ida. All right.
I should probably change mine to say that. How do I do that?
You are not the daughter of Inga.
No. Good point.
Daughter of
Click
Ida.
on the cog.
Oh, I'm doing that. Oh, on the cog.
I have meant to tell you a hell of a twist, Terry. So turns out. Okay, no. And then yeah. So did Robar again attack? And I didn't see it.
Yeah, you got a 12 the first time and a 9 the second time.
Okay, so that 9, let's see, is not likely to get it done, although it is. Let's see.
So that means either River or Inga is a mole, right?
What?
A half dwarf.
Oh.
Like in Dark Sun,
Exactly.
they're called mole.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if we're siblings.
Okay. So
Or you are just a really tall dwarf.
Robar misses both of his shots, unfortunately, but that 20 does hit the Ragak, the orc guard. So go ahead and roll your damage, and it sort of thuds into him. Once you roll damage, we'll find out how much.
8.
Okay. So that bangs into his corner. Into his shoulder, not his corner. That would be his shoulder. Bangs into his shoulder, and he kind of staggers back and sort of looks over, sort of wildly, and then looks in the direction. Ah! And then they all start yelling, alarm! Attack! And so Arnak basically turns and bolts and is screaming at the camp. And the camp is like, getting sorted. The wolves are going around while Ragak basically charges directly for the barrow and all of you. And I would like us at this point, please, to roll that thing we like to call initiative. Let's fire up some music here.
Forget to click your token.
Yep, and I got the turn order thing up this time.
So clicking token again. Where? How? What tokenness?
If you click
You're in
on
there.
your actual token that's on the map there, Amel,
yeah.
you should see you can right click on it, and then there's this thing on the top that says add turn.
I cannot click mine.
Can you move it around?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Maybe I didn't give you. Oh, that's because you. Yeah, I'm sorry. You weren't here for that, and so it was being controlled by Tawny. Now you should have it. See if you can do it now.
Okay. Yay! Okay, so I'll put myself. Oops. In Mirkwood. No.
What just happened? Oh, there you are. You're in Mirkwood.
Eh.
You're like, I'm out, and
Anyway, so right clicking to do what on it then again?
on the top of it, you should see a thing that says add turn.
I see a gear, a circle, and then a red.
If you right click on it.
I am right clicking.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe. All right. Well, I will
click
add.
on what?
What is this? What if
I just added your turn just now. Not
Okay.
with the number though.
Okay.
So.
I will just sorry.
No, it's all right. It's fine.
Alright.
Also, I need to add stone here too. Let me get
Yes.
stone over here. There we go. Man, I love this. All this combat music. All right.
So it's ruling initiative in the top above hit points, right?
Correct.
$19.
Okay.
And then stone goes on my turn, right?
Yes. All right. Let me just get all of these. Whoops. Okay. All right. So River's got a 19. Inga's got a 12. Oh, no, not a 12.
What? A
I'm
60.
sorry. You have a. Yes, 16. Okay, it's actually a little loud on the music. I'll turn that down.
What?
Yeah, I know. Alright, it's better. Okay, so we've got that with a 16. Robar Staunton, King of the Vale, Rider of Eagles. I forgot he added all that. Oh, man. That is a 21. So he is Mr. Johnny on the spot.
If you can hit anything.
Oh, I'm out. Also, you can switch your user thing around for the chat to your character. Then you also have the token as your avatar.
So that is what I'd like to do. I was wondering
It's
how.
like at the bottom of the chat box. It's like S, and then
Oh.
like you can click a box.
Oh, nifty. Okay, so the river. Oh, interesting. Oh, I should have. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I should maybe not have changed my name on the. Okay, so here's what I have to do now. I'm just going to do this. Not going to change my name here. This will still be for other purposes. And then now I understand. Thank you so much. There we go.
You're
Hooray.
welcome.
Oh, but I do still have to actually change my name to. I see. All right, I will do that then.
Okay, and then last but certainly not least.
Sweet.
Kinda can't wait for Inge to like get a title at some point because dwarves don't do last names. They just do like son of, daughter of, or they have to earn a title.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oaken Shield. Like that's not
Nice.
a name, that's a title.
What title would you give Inga?
Oh, I don't know. You guys have to give her a title if she gets one. If she earns
I
one.
see. All right.
Needs to be earned. I can't just choose one.
Inga Axe Smash. Inga Orc's Bane.
Of the
Ooh,
awesome.
Inge Oxbane. That has a good, nice ring to it.
Okay, let's see.
Eater of ponies.
Inge Bjornbane. Bjorningbane.
Bjorning
How about
Bane.
that one?
Oh, man. Okay.
Not far from the truth.
All right, let's see. And then these guys.
How did that go again with friends like these who needs enemies?
Yes.
Yep. All right, and last one there is.
Did I start supporting you guys on Patreon? I can't remember.
I do not remember. While you're looking at that, also, River, can you tell me your raw dexterity score, please?
Yes, I can do that. It is 16.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just in case it needs to be relevant, because oh my god, it's so amazing that we're finally in the known land because I give everybody like a billion bonuses now.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
kind
pretty
of. It's very like situational.
Okay.
By the way,
so,
known lands, Inga, how? Because we're now in the Nether Marshes. Are your so that's not known lands
let me
anymore.
Check. Let me
Yeah, just
check.
double check and see if it is, because I want to make sure.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, you passed into it about a half a day ago.
Damn it!
It was almost
I
that
can't
way.
see because like Roll20 is like not showing me my other proficiencies in languages where it should say, I think. Or does it? Wait.
Let
Oh
me
no,
look.
here it says Upper Marches, Northern Daylands, and Iron Hills. So
Nope, sorry.
What if we lured them back up into the upper
Follow
marsh?
me for the next 6 hours back into the other. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out.
So never mind.
As soon
Okay.
as they start to give up the chase, like,
Yeah.
Roll to goad.
Right, exactly. Doesn't take much. All right, let's get going here. Robar is up. River, you're going to be on deck. What would Robar like to do?
Robar says some kind of an elvish curse because he just, and he's gonna fire again because he's just angry at missing both of those things.
How quickly are they advancing, incidentally?
Well, they
Sounds like 100
just
feet.
now reacted. The only one who's running towards you at the moment is Ragak, the big orc.
Right.
The other one is running the other way, yelling at the camp. So you don't know like how fast they're going to react, but presumably they'd move pretty quickly at that point. You would hope. I mean, well, you wouldn't hope, but they would hope.
How far are the wolves?
I will put that in right now. They are a couple of 100 feet, probably.
Okay.
But of course, as wolves, they move pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's gonna fire his great bow at Gorignac.
Krishna.
Ragak.
20.
Hey, nice.
That hits.
There we go. Okay, yes, that will hit for sure. And he was
And
firing.
the
I'm sorry,
second
he was
shot.
firing that at the same guy that he missed before, right? The one who was
No.
running away.
No.
Oh, at the orc guard. I'm sorry. At
Also remember you can shoot twice.
Yeah.
Ragak.
Yeah, he just did.
comes
No, he's shooting at the guy that's heading towards them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that will hit.
So a 20 and a 17.
Okay.
For his two.
The 17 will miss. The 20 will
Okay.
hit.
Well,
The
then
17, he
damage
literally
for-
like knocks the arrow away with his shield.
Okay. 7 points of damage. For
Okay. He kind of staggers. He's definitely hurt. And let's see. Let me get my.
Geez, 17 doesn't hit. That's
Nope.
exciting.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Cool.
I'm so excited because I get advantage on all my melee attacks in this one because I hate orcs.
Wait,
so
I
much.
too. Why don't we all even? Oh, anyway, sorry.
Damn mechanical nonsense. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Good. Okay.
Sorry, he gets an extra 2 points.
So
So that would be 9. Because he gets all of your attacks made against servants of the enemy inflict +2 damage. Such servants are orcs, goblins, spiders,
okay.
trolls.
So I need to add another point or another 2 points.
2 points.
Okay. All right. All right. And is he going to stay where he is?
Yeah.
Okay. That leads us then to the river. And you are here with Stone as this thing charges towards you. And the others runs yelling at the camp.
Yeah. Is there any kind of advantage to be gained by, like, holding action, like standing there until he gets there? Is she visible at this point, or can she like get an attack of opportunity or something before?
She can't get an attack of opportunity, but because it's heading, he's very on the lookout for whatever attacks are coming from the barrow. It's not like you've got a whole thicket of stones. There's just a few of them that are there. So.
Okay. Right. Okay. So. Okay. River is going to Oh, one more question.
Sure.
Does Songs of Slaying have to be its own action, or can she do that while attacking?
Song of Slaying would say if it's a
It says expend one of your Warden's gift dice to give all of your allies within 30 feet an additional d4 on their next attack roll. Alternatively, any creature that has one of your Warden's gift dice may roll the die and add the number rolled to a weapon damage roll that they just made.
right.
That's all
Does it say it's a bonus action though?
it doesn't say.
Take a look. Let's see. There we go. Expend one of your Warden's gift dice.
To me, it only makes sense, like, for it to be as fearsome and awesome as it is if she is also swinging her axes at the same time. But yes.
Well, right. I mean, you can definitely. I'm just thinking about whether this is an action, because it's an action that you sing and then proceed. So I would say.
Also, what time of day is it? Is it night or day?
At this point, it is mid-afternoon, basically late afternoon.
Cool.
And you are a little bit unlucky in that it is overcast, so there's not the bright sun, which orcs generally do not like.
I was
Right.
about to ask.
Yeah, but it's kind of overcast and not dark, but it's definitely not that bright. Okay, I would say, they really should have said whether it's a reaction or what. I'll say let's make it a bonus action. So I'll say that you can do that and then can attack.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. All right. So that's what she's going to do. Also, are we supposed to? No, never mind. We don't see the soldier who we have with us on the turn order, right? You have that.
Right, I have that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, she is going to go for the big guy charging towards them, and raise her voice in this really piercing cry that is simultaneously melodic and terrifying, and sounds very much like if the sun striking water on a bright summer's day could be turned into a weapon and stabbed into someone's eye. That's more or less what this sounds like.
Okay.
I've been there.
Yeah. So she is going to go in with Stone, attacking with her axes.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice.
Woo! Okay, great.
Nice.
Great.
Wow, good stuff.
So do those hit? I hope it
Yes,
hits.
so those hit.
And so that
Meow.
one.
I hear a
Is that-
cat. Meow. Whose cat is that?
That is. Oh, that's my cat. She's meowing
Oh
because
yeah, I forgot that you have a cat.
I have two cats. Whenever she loses sight of my husband, she starts meowing piteously, especially if he's been away for a while. So
Aw.
he's like
Sad.
in the bathroom right now, and she can't see him, and therefore is sad. Right. So that was 24 and 25. I'm trying to make sure I roll the right damage one.
Yep. And Coven does have an inspiration left if someone needs it, he says.
So that was 5 and 6.
Okay, so 11 towards the guy that was charging, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So your axe just embeds and basically knocks him backwards. So he's going forward and he's like thrown backwards with both of your axes and hits the ground and lies still.
Is he dead?
Sure looks like it.
Really?
Yep.
Hooray!
So
Amazing!
He's down. We took about 35, 40 points of damage almost from you guys in the last turn. So
Yes!
so he goes down. Okay. That was that. Are you staying where you are, River?
Where are the wargs charging?
They haven't gone yet. You'll find out when they actually go. This is all happening in the first turn.
Yeah, but Stone still has his action,
Right,
basically.
that's true.
But can he? Does it make sense for him to hold his action? Does it make sense for him to, basically? Yeah, I think she's going to. I think she's going to stay there.
Okay.
Wait, no. Well, yeah, she's like she's charged out to meet him. I guess she can retreat to the stones in case they have bows, but we don't know if they have bows, right?
Right, you have no idea yet.
The
Okay.
wolves probably don't.
No,
Yeah, I was just
exactly.
imagining like a warg trying to use a bow.
Hey,
Like
look, in
without
Dark Souls, a wolf
fingers.
can use a sword, so... in
Can
Dark Souls.
Also in Pokemon.
Can
True.
Stone reach one of the wargs right now?
No, because they're a couple of 100 feet away. Now, if Stone charges down towards them and the wolves do charge up towards you, they'll definitely meet each other next turn. That's for sure.
Okay. And is it possible for... I'm still trying to figure out how the holding action thing works. Is it possible for Stone to hold his action until the wargs get up to them?
If
Yeah,
you
you
find
could-
that as your trigger.
You could specify. Basically, what you would do is you'd hold a charge. So,
Okay.
because a charge is essentially an attack and a movement combined. So, you could say, I will hold until they get close enough for me to charge them. Now, they might not do that by next turn.
Right.
You know, it might be, in which case he would just not use that action. Like, that's...
Right.
So,
Okay. Cool. Yeah, okay. In that case, I think she's gonna like demolish this guy and then step back into the stones with Stone.
with Stone.
Uh,
Okay.
Incidentally, I can't remember if we've done this before. Does Stone also get the bonus from Songs of Slaying that she gives to all allies
Yeah.
within?
Definitely. No
Okay,
question.
cool.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
an ally.
Wait, what does Song of Slaying do again? Sorry.
It gives you an additional D4.
Oh, yeah.
Or-
You can either add to your attack roll or to your damage roll.
Oh, okay, good.
And
But, like, just once,
how-
right?
Yeah, just once.
Yeah.
But you choose when to use it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seems like given how annoying their armor class is, it might be good to use for that, but I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. So, okay, so Stone's going to do that. So, now Arnak screaming has not left the soldiers idle. The soldiers see the situation, immediately loose the wolves, and then run forward themselves. And you can see that there are 4 again of those soldiers. In fact, I'll do more of... Shoot. Right. Paste. Okay. So, these 4 are going to run towards you, and you can see that they are all holding spears, and they have these sort of small bent swords at their belts, and they're holding spears, and
Just
they
like-
run up towards you with those spears, and the wolves kind of running in front of them, snarling. And that's going to lead us to the one soldier in your midst who peeks out from behind one of the barrows and fires a very long shot. Actually just misses, but he does just miss the lead wolf that's running. And he sort of curses and then ducks behind the stone again. And that leads us to Inga.
Finally. 2 questions. First of all, do wargs also count as the likes of orcs and goblins?
What do you mean?
Like wicked folk.
Like, because
So-
I get an advantage on melee rolls against orcs, goblins, and the likes. That's what the rules
Oh,
say.
no, I would not say the like.
Okay, good. So
they
who's
are
the closest
warg
orc?
kind, in case you're curious.
Okay, so who is the closest orc?
The closest...
Or how close is he?
How close? I would say, because they charge towards you, they probably now are about 120 feet, maybe the orcs are, I would say.
That's about 40 meters. for
Yeah,
any
no,
of
I'm
them.
just like, and like speed is like, so I can only move 25 feet. So
Right.
running towards them would be stupid. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
That depends on who you
Smart.
talk to. I mean, some people would think of it as brave and dramatic. And
Perhaps
No, in
not
that case, I'm
tactical.
gonna shoot at whatever is closest or whoever is closest.
Okay, that would be the wolf, which is about probably 30, 40 feet in front of them. So the wolf, probably the
Okay.
closest wolf is about 80 feet away.
Okay, I'm shooting that one.
Okay.
Pichu.
Woohoo!
Nope, not. I don't get advantage on these rolls.
Damn
Right.
it! Oh well.
But yeah,
So,
the 23.
23 will
should-
definitely hit, 6 will not.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, and
Why is it saying 7 plus 6?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, because of the advantage. So no, it's 7.
Right, so just be 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Still a good shot. This.
Do you want to add damage to that, or do you want to?
No, I'm keeping that.
You had okay.
How long does the Song of Slaying, by the way, last until?
What it says is. It says an additional D4 on their next attack roll.
Okay.
So actually, I don't know if you can hold on to it.
Yeah, you can't reserve it then.
Yeah.
So you would do the extra D4 now. Inga.
Oh, do I have to? Okay.
Yeah,
then,
you
sorry.
can't hold it. You just can't hold the power.
Okay.
You're just like so full of like.
Oh, so it is 11.
All right.
11.
So very good hit. It actually thuds right into the chest of this creature, and it almost stumbles, but then
nice.
snarls drool out of its slavering jaws, and it picks up pace as it now is making a beeline for you, Inga.
You.
And speaking, and I assume you're staying where you are, right?
The.
Okay. So it is now the wolf's turn, and this wolf is not happy that you have just shot it. And so.
Sorry. Quick question again before you go to the wolves. I'm so sorry. I can't keep this straight in my head. So the charge and hold thing. That like if I wanted to have Stone basically attack the wolves once they are in range.
Right.
Does that still like his unused turn from this?
Right. That's right. His
round?
previous one.
Okay.
That's right.
Great. That's what I wanted.
However, I don't think they're actually going to be in range. Or let me rephrase it. This one that's attacking Inga is probably not going to be in range of his charge. The other one's not heading for her. So
Okay.
I think that he'll be able to get that charge off on the other one because the other one's heading for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
All right.
so that would be the one that I'm assuming,
Yeah.
still won't be able to get to.
Okay.
But first we deal with the one that's on Inga. So this one comes, and when it gets within a few feet of you, actually maybe 10 feet of you, Inga, it actually leaps this huge leap in the air, just sort of barreling towards you. And that is going to be, let's see, a 15.
Oh wait, because my stupid armor class keeps resetting. That does not hit.
Okay, so you manage to just duck out of the way as it goes flying over you, and lands on the other side, and then sort of on its all four paws, then turns around, growling as it turns to face you. The other one now is heading towards you, River, and now you can have Stone sort of, run out and charge, basically head it off at the pass if you want.
Right. Yes.
So
Yes,
go ahead
indeed.
and make an attack on this thing. Yeah, good to see you, Polar.
Bite. Oh, jeez.
Unfortunately,
Oh, but he does get the D4. Sorry, let me add that and see. Well,
so we're talking 12?
yeah.
No, it's not going to do it.
Okay.
So unfortunately, he runs forward, but this wolf is really fast, and actually, essentially, Stone just misses him. Like he kind of tries to cut him off and just like goes past him, and then kind of yelps in frustration and kind of scrabbles around to go at him on the other side. But that means that this thing is able to try to jump on you. Let's see, and that is going to be. That's a 19, River.
That will hit.
All right, so it is going to barrel into you with its jaws held wide. That is going to do 9 points of damage, and I'm going to need you to make, please, for me, a strength saving throw.
Right, and the saving throws are in a different place, right?
They're above your skills.
Just to the right
Yes,
of
there
your
we go.
intelligence.
Okay. Strength saving throw. Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
nice!
So this
Hooray!
thing just hits the wall that is known as the river, just just slams.
Core
So
strength!
so it bites you, but you just it drops before you and kind of shakes its head as if clearing it, and seems
Hooray!
seems troubled at the fact that you didn't get knocked over. Okay, that's gonna lead us to Tawny, who's kind of waiting and oh, okay.
Well, Tawny is going to shift around because he's fairly close to Inga, right?
Yes, I would say so.
So he's going to shift around to the opposite side of the wolf, so that it is between he and Inga, and then he is going to bring his quarterstaff down on top of its stupid head.
Okay.
And as we are flanking,
Again, completely imitating art and life, since, as we know, Tren, his hatred for
hates
wolves.
wolves, just hates them.
The worst.
And the dice knew. The dice were like, no, you don't.
Well, no. Because we're flanking, I have advantage, so it's an 18.
Ah, yes, okay. That
And
does
I
hit.
accidentally clicked twice.
I see. I was looking at that second one.
Oh, okay, yeah, so was I.
Yes, okay. So that will hit.
Does
And you can add D4 to that.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and he's gonna add a D4 to that right now. Ding. For 4 damage, so 8 damage total.
Okay. That it's starting to look pretty hurt after those blows. Okay, and you're staying in that position, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay. That brings us back up to the top with Robar and then the river on deck. What is Robar going to do? So there's 2 wolves and the orcs charging as well.
Well, he's figuring that the 2 pairs of his allies can deal with the wolves at this point. He's firing at the orcs that are charging.
Okay. All right, let me just move over there, let's say. Actually, there. Okay. All right. So they're all pretty much the same speed. I mean, if he wants to fire at Arnak, which is the one who was talking to the now dead Ragak, he could do that if he cares. Otherwise, they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and fire.
Oh, Inga has gotten an inspiration from Echo Alpha, or specifically
Woo!
Terry Inga Tunes has gotten one.
Well, thank you very much, Echo.
Thank you, Echo. Oh, is there a
put
way
it
to
to
see who does
good
not have
use.
inspiration? Yes, Wise Growth. If you type in !inspire or I think it's actually inspiration -have, or inspire -have. I don't remember. It'll show you if you have the ability to use it. I know you do have the ability to use it because I put it up there before. Yeah, there you go. What Echo just did.
I think Weisworth maybe means who among the characters doesn't
Oh,
have
I see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
in
who
which
doesn't
case-
have inspiration?
River does not have inspiration.
So River does not, Wise Growth.
Yes.
Yeah, so the
Tawny
River
Bear
not.
does.
But Tawny does. Okay, so yes, that was a big blow. Robar.
Is going bink for an 18.
Okay.
I'm
Why
sorry,
does it
eight-
say that Robar used the quarterstaff? Is that just a weird Roll20 thing?
No, that's the thing. I'm looking at the list and it looks like Tawny has Robar's avatar, which I didn't.
Since I have control of both,
Oh, okay.
I keep forgetting to switch the
Oh, all right. Okay, that's fine.
roll as.
Okay.
Well, I just want to make sure it wasn't affecting it mechanically. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
thank you for the inspiration, Wise Growth. For those of you who don't know, Wise Growth was the person who left this really, really nice comment on our YouTube video about how great this campaign was and how good the storytelling was and blah 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 blah, and then supported
so
the
much.
Patreon on top of it. So this is a very, very good person, and he actually played D&D with viewers with me a few weeks ago too. So anyway,
awesome.
but thank you, Wise Growth. So
Thank you. Hooray. River's inspiration. I will add that.
So yes, all right.
So to answer your question, Amal, the name that gets attached to the roll is based on the drop down at the bottom of the chat thing, but what controls the bonuses and everything else is which character sheet you click on.
Gotcha.
So as long as I click on the right character sheet, it's the proper bonuses and everything else.
Awesome.
It's just got the wrong name attached to it in the chat.
Gotcha.
So that was one of his things, which was a bink and a miss
Okay,
because he's sucking with this great bow. But he's going to do it again for his second attack.
Oh, thank you, Wise Growth. We appreciate that.
9.
Doink, doink.
I like to imagine like Rovar basically just like he's that guy with a guitar who doesn't play it very well but will nevertheless insist on taking it everywhere, and like even though he is actually a much better singer, he just wants to keep having a plonk.
There you go.
Anyway, he is Wonderwall.
He is one.
Anyway.
And he'd probably be doing a lot better if he were here.
Exactly.
So,
And all the orcs that lead the way. Right, so, okay, so that is a miss. He curses and ducks behind the stones. That I assume he's staying where he is, right, Tony?
yeah, and he's probably switching to his short bow.
Okay, he's kind of like
They're probably getting too close now.
so let's talk about the River, who's up next. River, you've still got one wolf on you, and there's another wolf hunting, and there's those charging orcs.
Yeah, River is going to there's a wolf on her, and she's going to deal with that situation. Her and her core of steel is just going to like basically take her axes and go onto it.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna hold on to the inspiration for now, though, not use it for this turn.
Okay.
That's the thing I can do, right?
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, okay. And so.
All right. So that 10's not going to make it, but the 23 will hit for sure.
Cool. Incidentally, every time I'm rolling, I'm getting a thing that says no attribute was found for at the river. I'm sure that's like not actually affecting things mechanically, but I don't know if it's because I changed the name instead of.
That's a good
I
question.
also have that problem.
I don't know the answer to that, and
I don't have that problem. So
okay, I don't know the answer to that. I can talk to our good friend Fender Saxby, who is setting this up. I don't know though, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like it's. It doesn't look like I can see it having a mechanical effect on this side. Like it looks like it's doing what it should be, but. Okay. So, you did that, so 6 damage, if I got that right. Okay. All right, and you slash its side, and growls at you. Okay.
Stone is gonna also attack the same wolf.
Okay.
That he was like,
Damn it.
missed the first time.
Yep.
So.
A little too enthusiastic. Happens to the best of us. So we're looking
Dear
at
God.
9.
Wait a minute.
Unfortunately, that's not going to.
wait, are you guys flanking?
Oh, I think we are. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Yes, because he missed him, and so was running back at him from the other direction. So yes.
Which means that
That's
the
a
river
16
also,
instead.
and it means the river got the 18 instead of the.
No, no, because he was not there yet.
Okay,
Stone had to
right.
get
Oh,
up to
okay.
him.
Stone had to move
Yeah.
on his turn.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
That actually super makes sense because I'm imagining her just like, more or less between a rock and a warg.
And
A rock and a
work
workplace. Yeah, so, okay. So, but he does get to
He
actually
does hit
damage.
that second time.
So,
Which means the warg now has to make his.
The warg is
Strength
bigger
save.
than this. It is not a small or medium creature.
Yeah.
So it will not be making a saving throw.
Thank you again.
It is a
Yeah.
large creature. Okay, so 5 piercing, but it will take the bite and it will not like it. It yelps. All right. And that was... Okay, so that was stone. Okay, now the soldiers. So the soldiers now are close enough that they are able to get to right behind the wolves. Okay, so... The wolves, yeah, the wolves don't do that. The orcs do this. 2 of the orcs are going to throw their spears at you, Inga, and 2 of the orcs are going to throw their spears at the river. So, let's see about the ones that are throwing at Inga first.
Fortunately, the river's behind them, so they miss entirely.
Damn it. Okay. So, let's see. That is going to be...
I imagine there's also like most of a warg between River and the orcs.
Yeah, but the orcs can aim over. I mean, they're large creatures, but not like how do I put it? Like they're large
I get it.
wolves doesn't necessarily mean.
I'm just saying if they roll low, then
I'll
like,
that I should keep that in mind. Is that what you're saying?
perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Well, this
Give them
first
something
one,
to fight about amongst themselves.
this first one I think is going to be a 12 to hit.
Nope.
They roll a natural one and hit the warg. The warg turns. What the hell, Carl?
And the second one's going to be a 22.
That hits.
Okay, let's see. That is going to be 6 points of damage. I've had worse. Okay.
Just but a flesh wound.
Exactly. Okay, and
Big
then
mosquitoes in the Nether Marshes.
Oh, stop making fun of us. All right, the other two are going to throw them at the river. So the first one is a 10, and the second one is an 18.
The 10 misses, the 18 hits.
18 hits, okay. Only a glancing blow, though. Only 3 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And now the soldier is going to jump out and will shoot and hit, actually, one of the orc soldiers. And the orc sort of yells in pain, and the soldier kind of and pumps his fist and then jumps behind the stone again. Not the dog stone, the actual stone. And that leads us to Inga is up next.
What is the closest thing? Probably the warg from earlier, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the warg is right on top of you, or the wolf. I should not say this is not a warg; it's a wild wolf. It is of warg kind, though.
I see.
So it is technically.
It's a particularly ugly wolf.
Yeah, it's a small or a very small warg. Might be a better way to put it.
Well, that's less intimidating.
So I put my bow away and I'm gonna start slashing
Woohoo!
at that bitch, if it is female.
Yeah. By the way, I should say, one thing that to note about that when I mentioned that thing about the size of the wolf, this is not a war party. I mean, this might be a scouting party if you had to guess, but this is not like a huge group of big hardened warriors. You know, they seem more built for speed than whatever that's worth. So.
Are we flanking? Am I flanking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Tani's on the other side. So yes.
I'm assuming 15 doesn't hit though, right?
15 on the.
On
Yeah,
the
will
wolf?
hit. Yep.
Okay,
It
awesome.
wouldn't have hit the big one, but it hits this one.
Then I would like to. I don't have the D4 anymore. 3D4, right?
Right, you do not. You used it already.
3 points of damage.
Okay.
This was poor.
Okay. All right. That was your. Okay, so that was the two, right? You got both your attacks. Okay. So, and you're staying where you are, I assume.
Yep.
Okay. Now the wolves attack. So this wolf in front of you is going to try to leap up again and bite you, and I think is going to miss horribly. That is a 6, so I'm pretty sure that's a horrific miss.
Chews off his own leg.
The other one, though, leaps up and is going to, an anger and rage at Stone's attack, critically hit Stone. So,
No!
Yep.
How dare!
So Stone needs to make a saving throw and is going to take 13 points of damage. This thing just overbeared, was trying to overbear it.
Okay, saving
Overbear him.
throw. Is that just for him?
It'd be strength. Just
just
strength
straight
check. Yeah. Wow, so this creature just bears down with its jaws on his neck, and it's definitely hurting, but Stone manages to hold up and pushes back, and so you have this sight of this large wolf trying to overbear the strength of Stone, who of course is a big dog, but still pushing back the smaller dog, pushing up against the wolf. There is blood and fur in the air.
And you say 13 points of damage.
13 points of damage, yes.
Jesus.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't have the means of tracking his points here, but that does bring him down to 7 points.
7 out of 20. Yeah, I got it on my end.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the two wolves, and now we're down to Tani.
The second verse, same as the first. He's going to hit the warg between he and Inge.
Yep, which is looking pretty hurt.
Schmackenze.
What?
No.
Nope, unfortunately that is
you
not going to
say,
get the job.
I said Schmackenze.
In this case, Mission Z. So it does not hit, unfortunately. So it
No comment.
bangs off the ground. And you're staying where you are, Tani. That's going to bring us back up to Robar, who is now, now the creatures are
Come
close
on,
enough to melee.
Robar! Come on!
Come on, Robar.
They're how
Reveal
far?
royalty.
Players not available. Make your dice at least available. They
Hours?
are now they are within about, say, 50 feet, and their spears are gone, their swords are drawn, so the orcs now presumably are going to move within melee range next turn.
Why does it say that Robar is attacking with a quarterstaff?
Because I didn't change the name again.
We had this already, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this, him attacking with his short bow, will actually be him with the proper
Okay.
name.
With this short bow.
So he.
Hey!
Again, I didn't click it twice. I don't know why. No, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
So what?
The quarterstaff was Tawny. The short bow, the 20, is one of the two attacks, which
Okay.
a 20 will hit.
Are you? And you said the warg, right? Also the warg or the wolf?
No,
Also
he's
for this,
still
or-
shooting
he's
at
still
the
shooting the
goblins.
orc. Okay, got it.
Thank you. Yeah. That.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so his second shot at said same, or actually, I'll do the damage first for that one since it hit.
Okay.
There's that is and since he gets a +2 against wicked men, that's 10 points of damage.
That damage never actually rolled here, so 10 total.
It's 8 + 2 is 10.
10 total. All right. Okay. So that one's looking very hurt.
For his second attack on the same target. Bink! 16
16 will hit.
for bink! 9 + 2 is
there it
11
is.
points of damage.
It's just delayed. Now it just showed up. Okay, so 9 points of damage.
11. 'cause it's
11
+2.
points of damage. Okay, that is actually enough to take that thing down. So it goes flying backwards and lies on the ground still.
So he
This-
kind of.
And this was Inga's wolf, right?
No, this was the
Oh, this
orcs
is
that are running
The
towards
orc. He was firing
Sorry,
at the orcs.
yes,
Yeah.
the orcs.
Okay.
the great Karnak or whatever his name is.
So
Yeah.
that was actually that was Arnak that he was on. So Arnak is now dead. All right, that brings us to the river.
So question before we go on. Is Stone still flanking because he didn't get moved?
Yes, because he didn't get moved. Yep.
So she still has advantage on her attacks?
Yep.
Okay. So she is infuriated
Incensed? Yeah.
by just the sight of her dog hurt, and she just screams her rage as she attacks this wolf again.
Okay. All right. 20 will absolutely hit.
So there's a natural 20 and an unnatural 20.
Oh, really? That's it. That
Yeah.
because it popped up as as if it had not been a critical.
No, because the top one, because remember it's advantage on both. So,
No, I know, but normally you'll be able to see like the 20.
Yeah.
It looks like it's adjusted as opposed to being a natural 20 usually. So I just wanted to make sure you
the
rolled
top one. The
yeah.
top one is on the dice it's a 20.
See on the dice it says 14 on mine plus 6 equals 20, but not natural.
So that's on the top one. I've got on the top one it says 20 and 8, and on the
Right.
bottom one it says 18 and 26 in
Okay,
green.
so again, I don't
Not
have that.
seeing the second one.
Yeah, not seeing the
Okay.
second one. I really don't understand why Roll20 is doing this, but it's obnoxious. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So the top one I see is not natural. So you're saying the other one is a natural one. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So all
So
right.
there's critical damage on the second one, but on the first one, 6. So that should be 6 and 12, I think.
Okay. So that
Or sorry, 6 and 9, I think. I can't remember. The maximum damage on the dice is a d6 plus 3, I think. Is
So
what
it'd be
it-
9. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually just enough to take down the one that's on Stone. So you slam into it, and it yelps and falls over Stone. Stone kind of scrabbles out of the way, and the wolf lies still. So there's now 1 wolf and 3 soldiers remain.
And Stone gets his attack still, right?
Yeah, that was just that. Yep, that was just your attack. So
Yeah.
Stone though probably isn't close enough to get over to the wolf, but there are those
Right.
orcs that are closing.
So I'm actually going to say Where is Tawny relative to Stone?
Tawny, same deal. Tawny is flanking, is battling the wolf with Inga, and so the wolf is too far away for Stone to reach it. So that's where Tawny is right near the wolf, basically.
Okay. What is within reach of Stone's attack this turn?
There are 2 orcs that are making their way towards you, and you could probably get to either one of those 2 orcs. The other orc is closer to the third orc is closer to the wolf, but one of the 2 near you could probably get to.
Right. Basically, she wants Stone to be near Tawny for healing purposes.
Well then she needs to. Then he won't be able to attack in the same time. You could send him over that way if you wish. That's fine.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So River's gonna go. Stone, go to Tawny. And
he kind of starts limping over. Big gash in his side. Okay. He will do that, and now it is the soldier's turn. Okay, so I'm going to start moving them this way. These ones now, their bent swords drawn, close on you, River, and now those 2 are basically take up positions on either side of you. So you are now being flanked by these things. So one of them is going to... Wow. Dreadful rolls today from those
Hooray!
guys. So that's
Good.
going to be...
It's only a 32.
Exactly. No. That is going to be a 5 and a 9 on that attack from the one orc.
Those do not hit.
And the other one is an 8 and a 13.
Those do not hit.
Yeah.
Hey!
These are the wages of terrible rolls.
The orcs advance, and they're like,
how do I use this thing?
As she's going, Stone, go to Tom, and whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I'm totally imagining the orcs advancing and River just fucking staring them down, and they're like,
back off from my... Okay. Okay. So the other orc is going to basically close in on Tawny. Now, Tawny, this is gonna take away the flank because you're gonna have to deal with this thing that turns away, unless you just want to accept it attacking you in the back so that you can do that. But it's basically going to... You can sense that it's coming. Basically, you can hear it coming at you, so you can turn and face it or accept, its attack of opportunity on... Not attack opportunity, but attack advantage on you. Because you're currently dealing with a wolf that's in front of you and an orc behind you. There you are, stuck in the middle with you.
Clowns to the left of me, puppies to the right. Okay. Yes, I will turn to face this new threat.
Okay. All right. In comes this creature. And he will roll a 15.
Hits.
Okay. With his scimitar. His scimitar. 8 points of damage with this scimitar. Wow. He slashes down your side. Okay. And let's see. Those were those guys. And now the soldier leaps out to try to engage that... Actually, no. He's going to... Sorry, I take that back because we're of his position. So he's going to try to go out and again use his short bow. He's going to miss terribly into the air, going to the same school of rolls as the orcs have been going to, and is going to jump behind the boulder with a curse, behind the stone. And that's going to lead us to Inga.
Yay, I get to do things. Wait, what is the closest now to me?
The wolf still, right?
Still the wolf. Okay,
Right.
then I'm gonna do the same thing that I
But
was
since
already.
I'm being harried from the other side,
You no longer have advantage, yeah.
Ah.
Still the wolf.
But you do have inspiration, right?
Yeah, but I want to save that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
These orcs all attended Stormtrooper Academy of Villain Henchmen.
That's a good point.
Great.
So
Oh,
15.
man. The 15
Should
will...
hit.
On the wolf, right?
Yeah.
Will hit.
Oh,
Damn.
14 damage.
Yeah,
Oh.
You knock that into next week, so you just slash and and so powerful is your blow that you lift the body of the creature up. Like there's that scene in the Fellowship of the Ring film towards the end where they're battling the Uruk-hai, where Gimli just does this badass like axe shot right into the orc and is like, "Rah!" like knocks the orc over. That's basically what this is. You like lift the body of the thing and throw it.
Does it land on one of the other orcs? Because that would be really funny and also tactically fantastic.
Can we?
Can you aim that or aim that one? Make a ranged attack with.
She does like a Babe Ruth thing, and then.
Hey, Erdenel, can we get a ban on that, please? Or Coven guy.
ban on
Okay.
what?
So
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it. So would I say that they're as hungry as the wolf? Yes, I would, Coven. Well done.
But now they're dead.
Like the
So
wolf. Okay. All right. So yeah, you smash the hell out of that. Okay, and that means that it doesn't get a chance to go because it's dead. Thank you, Coven. All right, and that's gonna lead us to you're staying where you are, Inga. At this point, you got an orc left in front of you, and there's 2 orcs down by the river. Somewhat literally.
Down by.
take me to the river. Knock me down.
Yeah.
Oh no problem, Coven. It was either one.
Don't ban and drive, kids.
Man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
does
wait.
the
I'm sorry, I didn't
light-
get an answer from Inga yet. Are you?
Oh, wait.
staying? Are you moving?
Well, I
towards
already
the thing?
hit, like, yeah, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
just- like, unless there is, like, nothing alive close to me now.
I maintain that that Inga should get a ranged attack with the wolf and see.
Yeah, but I,
Don't know.
like, already used my attack, so I can't do
What,
anything else.
what you can do, since
Yeah?
you do have room, since there is an orc behind me, well,
Yeah.
in front of me, you would be able to use your movement to get to the other side of him. And
Oh, yeah. Then I'll do that.
Okay.
I reverse the flanking. Or something.
Makes sense.
Okay. All right. That leads us to Tani, and then the river will be after that. Sorry, Robar will be after that. So,
Has
Tani
Stone
would-
reached him? Just
I would say that Stone, no, but Tani could. Well, so
Alright,
Tani's got
it
an
might
orc
not
on
be as
him.
important this term.
So Tani's got an orc on him. Tani could theoretically disengage, or could move, taking an attack of opportunity and get to Stone. But otherwise, he's going to have to wait until Stone's next turn, and then Stone will arrive at him.
No, so.
And if I try to heal Stone while still engaged with this orc, he's going to get an attack of opportunity on me while I try to.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Okay. All good.
So, more quarterstaffy goodness to
Okay.
an orc face,
On this orc's face.
and at advantage because now Inga is
Flanking.
Mm-hmm.
13. No, sorry, 23.
23. That's a hit. Yep.
Woohoo!
Bam.
And
Bludgeon.
Sheboygan for 3 points.
Okay, that's what happens when you summon Sheboygan.
Mhm.
Okay, you're staying where you are. That brings us up to the river with, Robar with the river on deck.
Okay, and the orcs are now there?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
in-
Yeah, they're now in range. Yes.
okay, so he is using his Longasword.
Forward to the foe.
He's moving towards. If he can get into a flanking position with one of the ones on the river, he will do so.
I don't think he can get there this turn to do that. I think he could attack them straight up, and then next turn could probably move into a flank.
Okay, then whichever one is closer, that's the one he's going for.
Okay. They're about the same, so we'll just say this one on the left.
And so Longasword
All right,
slash
Robar.
attack for an 18,
Man, it's still not showing up. Yes, that 18 will hit.
and that will do 8 plus 2 is 10 points of damage.
Okay. All right. Not dead, but pretty hurt.
And for his second attack with his Longasword for 13.
Wow.
13 as the hit.
13 to
you
hit.
mean. That will just hit.
Okay. Then he will do with that damage 4 plus 2 is 6.
Okay, so now looking very hurt, but not quite dead. Okay, he is engaged with them. The river with Stone on deck. What would you like to do, River? You have 2 now. One of them is you're fighting alongside Robar, and then the other one is just sort of, by yourself.
Do I get a flank on any of them?
Not at the moment, because Robar is not quite in position for one. And the other one, you don't have anyone else that's on it, because Stone is heading up to Tani. So I would say no. So it's basically, there is, however, the one that's very badly hurt that Robar just clocked a couple times. So
Incident, how many orcs are left? Because there are 3. Okay,
3 orcs
cool.
left. All looking pretty nervous too, in addition to being hurt.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, so she's gonna go for the hurt one.
Okay. Hey, big boss.
And just straight up go for it.
Nice.
Wow.
Hooray!
Both hits. And one, of course, critically. So the one is that was both on the wounded guy, right?
I can only I'm not yet capable of targeting them unless
so you annihilate it and destroy what's left of it.
I was like, there's no point in rolling damage on the first one, right? Because it is like the 9 will take it down. So
So you utterly destroy it. Are you now? So now there's 1 orc left. Are you I should say 1 orc on you, and then there's 1 on Inga. So I assume you're moving to staying with the one that you're allow you to flank with Robar. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
To give him the advantage on the next one.
And Stone gets to Tawny now, so he's now at Tawny.
Cool. Is Tawny still fighting an orc?
Yes.
Or
he's still fighting an orc.
Okay, then Stone will attack him. And can he have a flank with Tawny? Is that since he has taken a whole turn to get into that position?
Right. Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to decide about the position. Yeah, because Inga's there too. Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. So Stone.
Yeah, and just block him, Ash. He's already been reported. So block him, individually. I mean, you can do that. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
So that is a 21.
Yep, we'll hit. Oh, and this actually is a medium creature, so he will have to make a strength saving throw.
So take 7 damage.
Okay, that will hurt him. Let's see if he makes the saving throw. He does make the saving throw, though. He manages to stand up under Stone's overbear attempt.
Okay.
Yep. Damn. Okay, now they get to go.
I need to go though. This is my heart. It's 140.
Right. There's 140, which you got to get going. Yeah, that's okay. Because
I can leave my window open.
You can absolutely leave your window open. Let people know where you will next be seen. I'm going to be wrapping shortly after this anyway.
Okay.
Where will you next be seen?
So you can. So I've shifted things around. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, you can do that at amal.substack.com. I am presently off Twitter until November 5th, but usually on Twitter I am at Tithenai, Tithenai, and there's my website, amalinmuhtal.com. But mostly you can find my book in bookstores if you are interested in that. And it's called This Is How You Lose the Time War. And it's co-written with Max Gladstone, who is one of the best humans on this earth. And y'all are great. And this was super, super fun. I am so happy to be back in the game and really, really missed you guys. Take care. Goodbye. Running away.
Okay. See you. Have a good class. Thanks, Amal, and day today. Okay. And I think as those two go, we'll have a chance. That'll be good because I think, assuming, this will be just about wrapped up. So the one is going to attempt to attack. I would say Inga. I
refuse.
I'm trying to decide if he's going to stay on. Yeah, no, he will. So he's going to attack Inga. But it's not going to hit with an 8, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. These rolls have been horrific. The other one's going to attack Robar, who just closed on him, but that's a 12, and that's not going to hit either. These guys are not good.
Actually, his armor class is 12.
Oh, wow.
No. You should check if his character sheet isn't also screwing around, because for me it keeps resetting the armor class. So...
See, what is he wearing? It doesn't say what armor he's wearing.
Because, I'm assuming, what is his dex? His dex modifier?
+2.
Yeah, so he's, that's not counting his armor. Then.
Yeah, I think that's actually right.
Probably the reason is that it doesn't list any armor on here, so it's not applying that to his...
Oh?
So if you can tell me what kind of armor he's wearing...
Does he have anything in his inventory?
No, that's what I mean. There's nothing listed.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So that could, we'll have to talk about, I'll have to check on this. We already tried to fix this once, and I don't know why this is causing problems. But anyway, okay, so that we will say is a miss. The soldier who leaps out and tries to attack also misses. So that brings us to Inga and Tawny. You've got 2 orcs left. One of them that's the one that you're dealing with that's very hurt, and then the other one's on the river, which is a little farther away.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack that orc.
Okay. Go ahead and make that attack.
How do you say that? With prejudice.
With great prejudice.
With
It's really
great
saying
prejudice. Multiple senses of the word. So, boom, that hits.
Yeah, sure does.
Uh-huh.
Boom, that hits.
Mm-hmm. Would agree.
So that would be 14 damage.
14, yeah. So just blam. Okay. So it is dead, and the other one is now looking extraordinarily nervous. Are you moving anywhere, Inga?
How far away is the other orc?
Probably about 60 feet or so, something like that.
I start booking it towards.
Okay. That leads us to Tawny, who is.
Oh yeah, she also goes like, "You better run!"
You'll pay for. Yeah. So Tawny, you can see that Stone is next to you and is kind of like whimpering a little bit.
Now that I don't have to worry about this orc attacking me, Tawny is going to heal Stone. So he breaks out his surgical staple gun and he receives 15 hit points.
Wow, which is conveniently will bring him right back up to full. Okay, so that healing feeling restores.
Even though it says it was Robar that did it, it was.
Yeah, exactly. You lie. Robar is like, it's like my character, one of my characters in my D&D with GOG campaign, who like has at various times pretended to be like 2 or 3 different classes. So the running joke now is he's just like, well, your ranger skill, your rogue skill, your paladin skills. Anyway, okay. So that takes care of that. That brings us up to Robar again, and then the river after that. Someone will roll for Tawny. I think you still have control, so you can maybe roll for them both just for speed.
And so Robar will once again bring his, because he's right there.
Right.
Okay. And
he's now in a flank position.
Okay.
So
he will now use his long sword again. For his first attack being a 22. Hit. And his second attack being a natural 20.
Wow. All right. So the hit plus the crit. So go ahead and roll damage on the non-crit.
The non-crit will be 10 points.
Okay.
8 plus 2. And the crit will be 10 plus 2 is... 8 plus 2 would be 10. Plus 2 for the bonus would be 12.
So a total of...
12. Well, a total of 22.
22? Okay. So, yeah, those hits bring this thing down. And so the soldier behind you cheers. And there is this kind of moment of silence as the raiding party, or whatever this is, lies dead. And
oh, what? There's nothing left?
There's nothing left. And you hear this kind of sort of gurgling laughter behind you. And you turn around to see Arnak, or what's left of him, kind of on the ground, sort of scrabbling on the ground and saying, "Yes, you'll see what happens when the Gibbet boss comes to take you down. Yes. And he's like having trouble breathing, and he says, and there will be a reckoning for you. and enjoy what time's left to you. You maggots will face the shadow. Your town of Selduin's already lost." And he passes, and as he passes, you hear far, far in the distance the sound of war horns blaring. And that is where we will bring this session to a close. Good stuff, folks. We had a much more... It's been a little while since we'd had a combat session, and we had a little more combat-oriented session today. But we we had, there was a lot of stuff that had to be gone through, and we did it, and you folks have almost made it down to Celdwin, so you'll actually be at Celdwin, I think, this next time, so not bad. But it was a lot of fun. Thanks, of course, to Amal, who has already said goodbye to everybody. And we will also hope to see Will back with us. Should be back next time. He just had internet issues because of various travel stuff that he's involved with. So we should have him back next month. I really want to have the full crew back. But of course, Will was back with us the last 2 times and Amal wasn't. So we'll get everybody in at the same time very soon. But thank you to both of those lovely people. And that brings me to the 2 people who are here. First of all, Terry Tunes. As always, Terry, great pleasure. It was a lot of fun to see how Inga managed stuff. I was actually enjoying the image of sort of the now increasingly powerful dwarven warrior just being like, brah, like taking out her frustration on the wolves. How did you feel about today, and where will the lovely folks see you next?
Oh, today was a lot of fun. I mean, always is a lot of fun. Let's be honest.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, me too, believe me.
Or you
I
wouldn't
had
keep doing
bad
it,
games
presumably.
before. This is not one of them.
Good, I'm glad. I'm very glad about that.
I mean, like, the worst game I ever had was like where I literally wasn't able to do anything the entire session because of multiple fuck-ups by the DM and my fellow players and my character being kidnapped. And
That's not a great... No, that's bad.
That was very, very boring.
Yeah.
And frustrating because I didn't get to do anything, like, because, my character isn't there, so I can't talk to the other characters, so... Anyway, this was a lot of fun. Wish I would have gotten, like, another hit on another orc.
To use that other inspiration, I know. They just took him out too fast.
Not to use the inspiration, but, like, just, like, Inga really, really, really hates orcs on a personal level by now. So
Yes.
It's like not just like it's not me speaking here, it's Inga speaking. Like Inga really starts to enjoy killing orcs. Like
yes.
her new hobby, so to speak.
Yes, the hobby of taking out the orcs, absolutely. Yep. Where will the lovely folks see you besides Tolkien Tuesdays? I know you'll be up here a lot, either doing Tolkien Quest or doing actual AME, but elsewhere on the internets,
elsewhere on the internets. Well, I mean, I do have social media, which I barely use these days, which would be Instagram and Twitter mainly. At TariTunes in both cases. Aside from that, don't have any events planned or anything. Yeah. Though I do want to say, like, for all you pet lovers out there, next time during our AME sessions, there will be a new individual joining us in stream, which would be my new cat, which I'm getting this weekend. So.
Yeah.
And she really likes sitting on shoulders, so there is a very good chance that she will be around for a lot of the stream. So, if for nothing else, come see my cat.
Yes, definitely. I am excited for this.
See me going into a downward spiral into becoming one of those annoying cat lover people. Ugh. I hope
Crazy
not.
cat lady.
No. For a crazy cat lady, I would need to have like at least 5 cats. No, I mean like annoying cat lovers, like people who talk about nothing but their cats. I know people like that, and really hope I'm not going to become one of those people.
If that ever happened, I'll just, a couple of critical hits will solve that problem.
Okay,
just
good.
In a quick way.
You have permission to kill my character. You have permission to kill Lilleman if I become one of those people.
But wait, let me just show you. I'm going to play with this little laser light. A critical hit. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. Anyway. But great pleasure. Thank you, Terry. Always a pleasure. And also I missed before. Thank you, Heterotic, for the follow. I missed that because I was in the middle of, fighting things. So thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But thank you, Terry. Always a pleasure. We will see you back here soon. Last but certainly not least, of course, Tren, who did manage to stay awake. And it was not a dream, apparently. But thank you, Tani. It was Tani. Thank you. I'm looking at your name. I'm like, see?
This is why you can't convince me that it's not a dream.
I can't believe you. Thank you, Trent. This is great stuff. How did you feel about today, and where will the lovely people see you next? I, by the way, was enjoying the image of Tani with the quarterstaff flank bashing. That was kind of fun, too. How'd you feel about today, and where will they see you next?
He doesn't often get to fight. Where he feels justified in doing so.
Right.
But, servants of the shadow, yeah, he'll absolutely fight those. But it was good. I very much enjoyed this. I was a little worried there at the end that I was going to wind up running 3/4 of the party. As people were leaving. But it turned out fine. I feel really bad for all the really crap rolls there for our beloved Dunedain Ranger, who apparently can't hit anything with a bow anymore.
It's compensated for by the orcs that went to, as I say, his school of rolling. Because
apparently, yeah.
So well.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. I very much enjoyed it. Felt a little bit, gimped with the Crabine from Dunland. It just seemed like there was nothing we could have done about that. That felt a little bit helpless, but there are times where that happens.
That's exactly. I didn't have a chance to talk to Amal about the encounter with mysterious figure on horse type of thing. It was a lot of fun running that, but yeah, the crow thing was one of those crap. Like there isn't a whole lot that can be done. Especially
fireball. No, we don't. We can't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say in a high magic universe,
right.
You can probably build Molotov cocktails. My character does have a bottle of booze on her.
we have big kegs of oil with us too.
Oh yeah,
you could have thrown those all at the crows. I think you should have done that actually.
I don't know.
Come down here. Anyway, where will the lovely folks see you next run?
Well, the easiest place to see me will be BlizzCon in a couple of days. In fact, tomorrow I fly down to BlizzCon, even though BlizzCon isn't until Friday. But be at Con Before the Storm on Thursday, and then BlizzCon Friday and Saturday, and maybe Sunday. I think it's Sunday too as well. And then Monday I come back. Beyond that, you will probably see me back here sometime, I imagine. Back here on this channel for things, probably D&D.
Yes,
on whatever day.
Yeah, we're working that out schedule as we speak. So yes, Trent will be back for that and back for these. I'm hoping to get 2 of these sessions. I think we'll be able to get 2 of these sessions in November. And yeah, so that will be good. I think we're setting up nicely. Remember,
this Sunday, those of us in American Canada, we fall back.
We get the extra hour that was stolen from us wrongfully these many months ago.
Oh, it's so nice that this time it's just 1 week difference, because I remember last time it was several weeks difference.
God, the 2 weeks.
And keeping up with the schedule was really difficult because I was like, are we gonna stream in an hour? Mm-hmm. Or did we start streaming 2 hours ago? Or so yeah,
our farmers, Ash, our farmers didn't steal our thing.
It was not their
whatever idiot came up with, I can't remember his name. It wasn't Benjamin Franklin though, who came up with daylight saving time. Farmers, if the sun is up, you're working on your fields.
That's
they
it.
They go by the sun, not by the clock.
That's it.
So it wasn't farmers who did it. It was idiots who thought they were thinking of the farmers when in fact they were not.
That's right. Yes, and I'm looking forward to getting that time back. But speaking of time, I have got to head off to a meeting, so I got to close up shop. This was a lot of fun, as always. And by the way, one quick note to everyone watching. There is a good chance that we will be making a significant announcement regarding this campaign very soon. And the players know about it and are excited about the prospects, and so am I. So, but we cannot reveal any details yet, but stay tuned for
We can reveal that there will be details.
There will be details. That's correct.
Spoilers.
Wait, I said too much.
Oh
Quick,
gosh.
cut the stream. Cut the feed. Anyway, thanks so much to everybody here. Chat, can we get some love for our wonderful players? Thank you to Amal and DeWill, and special thanks, of course, right now to Trendane and to Terry Tunes. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you folks soon.
Bye.
Bye for now. Okay. Good stuff, folks. So yes, I am going to have to rise up on out of here because I have got a meeting that I've got to do. And then, just as again, for those of you who did not see this, just as a quick reminder, I will not have my usual Pen and Pixel show on GOG today. They're doing some themed stuff, so I will not be doing that today. I will be back normally with, of course, with Pen and Pixels next week. So I am going to be probably streaming on my own channel, and I may just end up, for simplicity's sake, doing it. I may just end up streaming on at the same time, so I might just stream at 4 p.m. my time anyway. But I'm just letting you know that, so I will not be over on GOG today, but I probably will be back on my channel. My guess is with some Neverwinter Nights, Tyrants of the Moonsea. Great stuff, everybody. Again, and thank you so much to chat. It really does make a big difference to the players to have you folks here. I love seeing the comments in chat and all that stuff, and the inspirations really help too. So thank you all so much for being a part of this, and if you haven't already done so, please consider supporting us here by subbing to the channel, by supporting the Patreon, and by doing what we do. We really try to build a great community here, which is another reason why people that come in to try to demonstrate their own insecurities and misery by making fun of said community are instabanned. We want people to be a part of what we do here in a loving spirit, and if you're not part of that spirit, then the current White House resident is that way. But that's the deal. We are very grateful to all of you who are such a big part of this. So thank you all. You are wonderful, lovely people. But that's going to do it for me for the moment. Again, I may be back here later on. Keep posted to my Twitter, and you'll be able to see when I go live again. Again, maybe just trying to go back on my own channel at 4. We'll see, with some Neverwinter Nights. But either way, that's going to be coming on down the pike. Thank you to everyone. Much love to all of you. Please follow the channel, YouTube, !arvtube, Steam group, Discord, !arvcord, Twitter, !arv tweets, website, arvanelleron.com, Patreon, !arvtreon. The sub button is that video sub button right above the video window. Thank you for those of you who use that. And !arv shop. Don't forget, you can actually get merchandise made by our very own Terry Tunes relating to this campaign, plus Infinity and Beyond stuff as well. I will see you folks hopefully sometime later today. Until then, thanks everybody again. Thank you to Aradinel, Coven Guy, Terry Tunes, my wonderful mods. Thanks to Terry for the wonderful play today. Thank you to my subs, Aradinel, Coven Guy, Nonstop, Wise Growth, Snicer Tenu, and Trendane. Thank you again, great stuff out of Trendane. Again, thank you so much to Amal as well for her great play, and thank you to my wonderful subs and Patreon supporters also. Thank you to Alfred, I already talked about Amal. Thank you to another TT viewer. Thank you to Ash, to Aiton, Big Boss, Chirikide, Ekeg, Aranth, Gorgar, Heterotic for the follow today. Thank you to Liber, Lurks, Mubot, I guess. Thank you to Slinky1921. Thank you to Theoldo. Thank you to you, Christensen, B&K, Valerian Gamer, and Virgo Pros. Thanks, everybody. Much love, and I will see all of you folks soon. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Have a good night.